Tonight's show, we're talking about spiritual bypassing exposed. And I'm answering all your questions with live readings coming up right now.
Does it look like a Devin or David?
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You look like there's something in your end table that you this too.
My God, we're crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if she's showing me flowers. Like, relay them or redo them. These purple flowers.
Oh my God, Scott, the flowers are right there. My orchids are purple. They completely are there.
Yeah.
Did you even know? You nailed everything, every single thing. Listen, everyone, this guy.
There needs to be a connection with like a Native American ancestry. And they're showing me a turquoise stone. Yes.
I just went to a Native American dance class and I wore this stone.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
Who doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Camera's psychic who first questioned Brooke's cancer.
Scott Cruz.
Oh, there you won! You won!
You better question yourself. We're here to bring enlightenment, not confusion.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I said, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
We've all co-created this matrix. So if you don't like the matrix, that's you saying that you don't like your own reality, what you're creating for yourself. So we're all equal participants of the creation of this matrix. I don't just come on here and talk shit, repeat shit. I'm living it.
In harmony with nature.
Hello, beautiful souls. Happy Thursday Night Live. Welcome to the Cruisyverse. How has y'all's week been? We're in Aries season, and Mars just entered Aries today. So a lot of impulsive energy, a lot of energy to get things started, to get things initiated. Sometimes I might be bumping heads with other people too with this energy. So, but we need to understand how to utilize that. And so we'll probably get into that in the collective read about how to deal with those energies this week. And we'll get into our topic, spiritual bypassing exposed. It sounds very like Law and Order. Or a very kind of like a controversial documentary. But many people are like, what is spiritual bypassing? And I've created kind of 4 pillars of the things that in spirituality that prevent us from actually growing spiritually. And it's the spiritual bypassing is the inability to actually focus on real emotions, deal with real problems, and focusing on the emphasis of our own soul evolution. It kind of numbs it and actually puts us in this kind of state of fluff and delusion in a sense, but also kind of it bypasses your actual spiritual growth and journey. And we'll get into that, the topic. And kind of like what are the reasons that bring us to that spiritual bypassing state, but how to also avoid it. And how to also bypass the bypassing, as you would say. So, but without further ado, let's see who's chatted Kathy on in the room really quickly too. We have Erica. Hello, it's good to see you. Our High Thigh Heidi story creator. It's been a while. Erica did a wonderful, wonderful presentation about her journey. She's starting her speaking journey. So hopefully we'll actually have Erica come on in a couple of weeks and talk about that. So she's been very busy and using her voice, a tremendous soul, tremendous heart, tremendous light, and tremendous influence. I'm so proud of my Aqua sister that she's doing what she's called to do. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. I can't wait to share what she's been doing. So yeah, we'll have her on. She can tell you for herself in a couple of weeks about that when she gets back from vacay. My wonderful mod Nina's in the room. So if you want to get a question and get them in now, 15 for a card poll, 20 for 1 questions, 30 for 2 questions, 40 for a live video with moi. The PayPal and Venmo links are in the description below. And Nina, again, she'll help and assist you if you have any problems about doing so. She'll guide you with that. And so hit her up. Go in the chat. Have any questions? Get them in now. Janelle Halligan, good to see you. Yeah, so says, let's go, Scott. I think I saw you said something about hopefully I bring the feistiness or fire. Always bring the feistiness, of course. Jennifer Cruz, good to see you. My mom, of course. Sally Jesse is in the house. Give Pamela Johnson a good shout out. Good to see you as well. Julia Fox, good to see you as well. Bright Light Becca Boo, welcome aboard. It's been a couple weeks since we've seen you on. It's good to have you back too, Becca Boo. Good to see you. Linda Jane, hello. David Cruz, my dad's in the house too. My father. Darby Mabry, good to see you. Brenda Zweck, hello. Lauren Jojo, good to see you as well. James Porterfield, hello. Bringing the heat, of course. But remember, the heat is all about warmth, right? The heat isn't about fire, but it's actually about the warmth. That's where the heat's coming from. It's coming from passion. Lisa Cruz, my sister from the same. So good to see you. Iggy, can't you see? Good to see you. Welcome back, brother. Scott manifesting spiritual bypassing with mission, passion of resist it until persistent in alignment with 333, Jesus, twin flame of love of light. Fighting upstream, but don't talk about it. That's basically the summary of spiritual bypassing right there. Thank you, Iggy. Good for your help on that one. Can you lead on? Alma Ford, good to see you. Abby Co, always great to see you as well. Catcher Oracle Magic, hello, my love. Good to see you as well. And those are Chatty Cathy in the room. I can only see you. And Ron G, good to see you as well, actually. And who else am I missing here as we go on? You're all very Chatty Cathy. Kristen Noel, good to see you as well. And I think that's it. And all of you who are watching can only see Chatty Cathy. Welcome aboard. I'm going to start with a collective read. And so I do use tarot in conjunction. I am a channel. I don't necessarily need that, but sometimes I already have an idea, when the show starts, what I want to talk about with the collective read. But I like the cards kind of assist, say, hey, someone in the audience needs to hear this. So it just helps to make things a lot quicker so you don't have to hear me shuffling and sniffling. All great stuff. So let's get these cards shuffling. We'll start with the collective read here. Okay. Dana Manko, good to see you as well. Okay. CNC, exactly. Okay, let's shuffle these cats. Okay. Like I said, so Mars entered Aries today on the 9th, or does today. And so I think that we're going to be experiencing, a lot of duality during this time, impulsive energy, like I was saying before. But what does that mean? And we'll get into that too. And how to really navigate this week. Interesting. I'm not surprised. Let me just pull these oracles. I forgot them. And as I was saying, I was kind of prepared for you too a few weeks ago, guys, about the identity reset, talking about such, and especially with the April energy forecast, kind of preparing you for the rifts ahead and how to navigate them. Because as we all know, there's always a rift. There's always a wavelength of things happening. It's just, how do we navigate? How do we ride those waves? So therefore, it could be beneficial at different parts of that current. And that is the point we want to master in this reality. Okay. Not surprised this is coming up either. Okay, give me a couple seconds as I tune in. Okay. 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 All right. First position here was the 5 of Cups. I was really anticipating about losing, right? So we need to start understanding what is loss to us. What do we really define as a loss? Now, simplistically, we could be saying, oh, I've invested money in this opportunity, in this endeavor, so I lost my money. Yeah, you might have lost the tangibles, but didn't you gain insight of what not to invest in or how to invest? Did that loss teach you anything about how to better serve your money in the future? See, there's always a polarity to everything, as I've been repetitive about for the past 2 months about polarity and embracing the polarity, but this is true when it comes to loss. Because on the other side of loss is a gain if we allow ourselves to see that. And see, during this time where we're doing this identity check and we're shifting our identities, become more vibrant and more passionate about the people we really are without being told to shut up or keep silent or your opinions don't matter. Now we're trying to step up and saying, but if I step into that essence, I might lose my identity, my old identity. So what is my new identity? And we're saying, well, you won't know until you allow yourself to accept the loss of the old identity. And it's not so much that you're losing that past identity, you're upgrading that identity. Right. And so this is the period now, because we're going to start seeing those aspects of ourselves being purged out of our subconscious, out of our conscious mind. And so as they're starting to purge and circumstances start kind of manifesting around us that are trying to push us in that direction of that new voice, that new perspective, that new insight, that new awareness, we're going to be saying to ourselves, how do I let go of this old persona? I've been so comfortable being the bitch. I've been so comfortable being the asshole. I've been so comfortable being this person. Who am I now? Who am I? Right? That whole philosophical question. And said, yeah, but who were you then? Were you really the asshole? Were you really that edgy person? Were you really that person that had the chip on your shoulder? Was that really you? Or was that a version of you that was trying to protect yourself in order for yourself to, protect yourself from being hurt, protect yourself from deprivation, protect yourself from complication? Because in a sense, that might have been a version of you that was just stuck in avoidance mode. The chip on your shoulder, closing down, isolating, right? And it's interesting the Hermit card is right here too, because the Hermit card is not so much talking about that was a state of isolation and losing yourself. It's about saying, understanding what true isolation is right now. Really understand what being with yourself means. I know a lot of people say, well, I got to be alone. I'm just going to be alone. They end a relationship, they end a circumstance like, oh, I'm just going to be alone. They go to this extreme. It's like, you don't have to be alone. It's kind of impossible to be alone because you have family, you have friends, there's people around you, coworkers. You want to look at spending more time with yourself. Big difference. Because when you spend more time with yourself, you get to gather more information about what is really making me tick right now? What do I really, really desire, right? What I really, really want. And not so much the emphasis of what you're wanting, but what you're wanting is more the emphasis of the person you're trying to become. And again, a lot of what I've been saying for the past month is going to be cycled up in this collective read again, because we need to cheerlead and remind you this is the point of view we need to be possessing right now. Who is a person you want to become? So example, a lot of people are saying at this point, because we're in the Aries season of passion. And now is a good energy cycle to be in, to utilize this energy cycle to really project what we really want and to become what we want. So it actually can physically manifest and we can align with those things. And so with this passion, and if you want a relationship, you say, well, I want a lover. I want someone to love me. It's like, you want someone to love you. Okay, but why do you want the love in return? Can you give the love? Are you a loving person? The emphasis needs to be on our participation, what we're trying to manifest or what we're trying to align with. So what are you doing in that stage of having a relationship? Are you a part of that relationship? Oh, everything's so boring. I'm always so bored. I'm just so bored in life. It's like, but you show up to things, you don't participate. You show up to things, you yawn. You don't engage with conversation. So no wonder why you're having a boring experience, because you're being boring, right? Let's keep that simplistic. But this Aries season right now is calling for us to look at those things, those safety nets that we've created with our persona, and say, I'm releasing that safety net from my consciousness. I'm stopping to wrap myself in that safety net. I'm purging that. And I don't care if I lose that identity, because it's actually something that's been holding me back anyway, that's preventing me from getting one, which puts me in the state of losing anyway. Because I'm not reaching the heights of relationship. I'm not reaching the heights of financial security. I'm not reaching the heights of my creative expression. I'm not reaching the heights of my career and so forth. But that comes to truly knowing the self. And this is so repetitive and so freaking cliche. And that means is that you have to really understand and ask yourself the question, do I really know my true self? Ask the question. And if you say no, then that cliche bumper sticker of knowing yourself means absolutely nothing to you, which means that you'll never understand what it means until you grapple to say, what does it mean to really understand the true version of me? Instead of just hearing the bumper sticker, do I understand what that means? Ask yourself that question. And that's what this Aries season is supposed to bring out, that passion and fire for that. And so you already know what you don't like. You already know what pisses you off. You already know that aggravates you. So those are indications of where you're depriving yourselves in your life. Those are the indications. And now is the time to push through, because we have to be able to encourage ourselves and to motivate ourselves and be our cheerleaders in a sense, and say, I'm going to behave differently. I'm going to act differently in this regard. I'm going to push myself in a way that stops this pattern. Because the only way to stop the pattern is to do something differently. And this is the psychological aspects that people miss in spirituality all the time. They say, I'll just go into meditation. That'll fix things. I'll just put myself in this cloud nine. That'll fix things. Oh, I'll just say my affirmations 10,000 times. That'll fix things. Nope. It's not fixing anything. We got to shift. We got to represent ourselves differently. And so with the Two of Pentacles coming in this position too, it's also talking about that balance. And so again, there are attributes within the self that actually are part of your duality, and those things are kind of really much enlightening of where your strengths are, and through your I would say deprivations. Now we have to start looking at those things even more too and bring that into balance, because I've always said, and I'll say it again, it's repetitive again too, but this needs to correlate into this message, is that your characteristics has a duality, your characteristics has a polarity. And so you could be a very sensitive person, but how are you using sensitivity? Because there's a duality to sensitivity. You could be very sensitive where, again, you think that everything is about you, you take everything personally, or you could be sensitive enough you're very empathetic, you care for other people, and sensitive enough to where you're giving yourself your time and space, right? And so there's different versions. There's a balance of such. So which end of the polarity are you sitting with that characteristic? And understanding the balance, because you can't be all sensitive about, I'm too sensitive about other people that I've denied the self, or I put myself last. That's out of balance. And can't go on the other end of the spectrum where I'm so sensitive, I take everything personally, which is all about you. right? What's the balance of sensitivity in that sense? The balance of sensitivity says, I care about others. I really care about how other people feel and how I contribute to others, but I also care about myself and make sure I'm allowing myself to be appreciated and tended to with care, right? That's the balance of sensitivity. But I hear so many people, I'm so fucking sensitive, or I overthink too much. I'm an overthinker. Thinking is a great thing. To overthink can be a very positive attribute. But if you're overthinking all the time, that's like everything's going to shit. Or if you overthink that everything's so positive, you're missing the balance of life. Those extremes are not going to serve you well. But the balance of overthinking is, you know what? I can see how I can process things to my benefit, but I also understand the consequences of things too. So I'm going to use the assertive energy that I have with awareness to actually find a balance of how I can actually process reality, and boom, I can align. I'm more intuitive, right? So this is the point that we need to understand. So many of you guys are trying to like purge and wipe out your built-in characteristics that are amazing just because you're out of balance with it. You know, and because sensitivity is a beautiful thing, and so is overthinking. It's a wonderful thing. Be thankful that you overthink, right? And so these are things we need to start embracing and find. And I always say, think in your favor. Think in your favor. If you're thinking, always worrying all the time, which is habitually thinking negatively, think in your favor then. Find the option. You know, because whatever you are consistent in, that builds a repetition, and that puts you in that rabbit hole. Right. And so, but when you're in a rabbit hole of expansion, well, then there's always endless possibilities of shifting things and putting things in motion in a positive direction. Right. And so it's interesting. This message isn't overly philosophical, but it's well needed because of where we're at now. Is the beginnings with Oracle card, with creation and peace. Okay. How general and cliche I can get without that. But let's explain. Let's dissect that a little bit. We are embarking on a new phase, a new paradigm, both with our collective world, the collective consciousness, as well as our individual consciousness. We're evolving. We're starting new. And we're in a phase right now in 2026, like I've been saying for a long time. And again, I'm trying to piece all this together, so it might sound repetitive, but all these repetitive energies coming together for one unified message, is that we're in a perspective, in a paradigm to where things are becoming revealed. And we're seeing that collectively too, but also individually, things are being revealed. And a lot of people who are doing the work are starting to recognize they're beside themselves. Holy shit, who's that person? Or you react somewhere like, what was I doing? We're starting to notice these things because the times are calling us, the planets are aligning to call to us and saying, we're ready for that shift. We're ready for that true awakening. Not the faux awakening we hear in the new age faux spiritual communities, but the new awakening of true self in conjunction to the collective. And so this is the beginnings we're talking about. And so if you understand the chapter that you're in and why it's closing and the whole purpose of that, you'll understand what this next chapter is calling you for. As I've been saying again repetitively, that everything is in a cyclical nature. Everything is a season. What is a season? What is a circle the cycle that you are in that's calling for that evolution. And when you understand this, then boom, you bounce into the next cycle and you understand this current and the rhythm of life. And then you say, you know what? When it's downtime, I'm chill. When it's like up, I'm ready to go and be productive. So that downtime is never a negative aspect of for me or a negative experience. It's just I understand that's my downtime of introspection. That's my downtime of realization, recalibration. You know, so many people, they have a down moment after they've been on a high. It's like, oh my God, things go to shit. They panic. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Life is going to hell. I'm going to lose everything. It's like, are you kidding me? It's like that down slope, as everything is a wavelength in life. And on the up, there's that down. And on the up, when you're going up, there's always going to be a down higher than the last down. You want to make sure you're always going up, in an upward trajectory, as I always say as well. You want to make sure that you understand what to do with those currents in the downtime. Okay, that's my time of vacation. That's my time of rebuilding. That's my time of inspiration. That's my time of writing. That's my time of journaling. And the up moment, okay, now it's the time to express it. Now it's the time to share it. Now it's the time to be productive. Now the down slope. Okay, now it's time to reconfigure. Now it's time to reshape things. So we need to understand these cycles and currents. And right now we're kind of in an uptick. We're about to embark on this uptick in this energetic cycle of expression, of passion, impulsivity. You might feel a little intense about things, a push. And these are the things we should be emphasizing right now. And what is the things we need to express and purge in our experiences? And that purge could also be that, like I said before, that negative version of self that's been lingering, that need not linger no more. Okay? And so we have to understand the levels of our consciousness. Okay? We have this physical persona. We have this physical brain processing physical reality. Does that need to be running the show? Are those programs that you've inherited from your past, your past traumas, your past unresolved, what you've inherited, do those programs need to be running the show? Because so many people, a lot of people actually, when, we're taught just be seen, not heard, or, if you have issues, don't express it, don't be a problem, don't be a burden to other people. And so people hold it in. They carry that. And they don't get voice to the things that we've silenced for so long, that have been screaming for a way to grow and to evolve out of ourselves, to make ourselves a better being, to make ourselves a better person in the future, that we say that we want to be this person, all these things. We're not allowing the growth and the things to soothe, the things that are unresolved, to actually manifest and to expand in order to become the person that gets the things that we say that we want. So understanding this impulsive flow. Now, some just ask, how do we go with impulsive flow or no? It's like, with this impulsive flow, understand, where's the fire lingering within you? The fire might be saying, I got to do. Okay, take a step back, say, I got to do, instead of saying, like, I would like to do, what can I do currently? How can I express this in a way that's productive? Take a step back and just analyze for a second what the impulsive is. Don't just react like this. Take a step back and dissect the feeling, the impulse energy a little bit better, a little bit more acutely. And then when you do, then you'll understand, okay, like, I really feel like I want to get this thing started, but do I need to over-encumber myself with too much too? Because so many people want to do this and do that and do this. And so last night on Leading Out Loud, I was saying, like, the theme is about priority. What is the main priority here? The goal is not to be fragmented with all these different ideas and like, I gotta get all this stuff done. That's not the goal of impulsivity and being productive. The thing is, like, what's priority? What is the main foundation, the main core, the hub of the thing I have to nurture and I have to grapple in order for all these extensions to also become manifest or to be able to flow too? That's the whole point we need to start being refined on in our perspective. The core of the passion. So, catch, you might be saying, yeah, I want to be a reader, so I want to do all these different aspects of reading. Say, isn't the core just being a reader? So once you put the passion just being a reader and let all the attributes fill in naturally, right? The different variables of doing so, And so we have to, again, allow ourselves to say, well, maybe I need to lose this aspect of self. I may need to lose these options. Maybe I don't need them. Maybe they're just encumbered me too much, right now. Right? And we're starting to see these systems breaking down, guys. I've been saying this for a long time, especially with the religious aspects. A lot of us have that unresolved religious karma in our subconscious that we're purging, that we're releasing, that we're letting go of. A lot of us have even even with the spiritual communities, and we're going to get to that with the topic. I didn't even put this banner on about the collective reading right now. We're doing the collective reading, but put that on. We're purging a lot of these expectational, irrational standards that have been like buried in our collective consciousness. We're like peeling that away. And when we have a crutch of religion, when we pull that crutch away, they're like, oh my God, what am I standing on now? And it's like, yes, what are you standing on right now? If it was religion, what do you need to be standing on now, currently? If your crutch was, some vapid, spiritual, phony baloney community, you pull it out, what do you have to stand on? And that's a great question to ask yourselves. And it should be, I'm standing on my own point of view, my own perspective. I've created my own foundation, not dependent on somebody else's voice or opinion or ideology, so to speak, right? That's the point that we want to start, making to ourselves, because we want to be able to, without any type of belief structure, any type of influence, be able to stand solid in where we're at. And understand, I don't need those things to be whole, to be solid, to be secure, to be consistent. I don't need those things. I'm consistently on my own, evolving my perspective on my life experiences and on the world in conjunction to, So that's kind of the simple point of that. Which leads us to the topic. The collective reading, again, just a reminder, this collective reading today wasn't so much a overly philosophical, mind-blowing, read, but it needed to be something that's actually a reminder so we can actually take heed on what this energy is really calling to us, okay? So the chat today is spiritual bypassing exposed. So what is spiritual bypassing? Like I said before, spiritual bypassing is using spirituality as a way to bypass looking at true deep emotion, resolving unresolved trauma or unresolved karma. We're using spiritual methodologies to say, oh no, I'm focusing here, which is actually putting you in a state of non-progression, right? And so what is one of the first communities that I would say is a contributing factor to us having this spiritual bypassing? And I would say manifestation culture is one of the key. I'm very vocal about this. guys. The manifestation culture of just think about it, think positively, and you'll manifest what you want. Whatever you want, you will manifest. You think about it, it will come to life. It'll manifest. If you're not manifesting, you're not thinking properly enough. And so therefore, shame on you. You're not thinking properly. You're not wanting enough. You're not wanting enough. That stuff. Because what is that doing? That's putting all the emphasis on, I'm not desiring correctly. I'm not wanting correctly. So let me just try to differentiate my styles of wanting so I can get the thing that I want. I can get the condition that I want. So the emphasis does not become on soul and spirit, it becomes on conditions. And if we're not obtaining those conditions, there's something wrong with me. I'm not doing it right. Up, I'm manifesting this lack. Up, I'm manifesting all these negative things happening. Up, it's my thinking. I'm not positive enough. And that's a whole lot of bullshit, because then people start focusing on like somehow obtaining things and conditions is what spirituality is. And that's complete utter nonsense. Because what manifestation really is a result of action and an alignment of things that connect. That's what manifestation really is. Okay. We have a soul purpose. We have a destiny. We have karmic unresolved part of our spiritual journey as well. And so if we have a karmic unresolved that conflicts with something you're trying to manifest, ain't nothing gonna happen. Nothing's gonna matter. You can say it to your face turns blue the 169 times, 69369 rule, and all the stuff. You can journal all you want. That is not to come into manifestation, because you have not resolved the unresolved karma that is actually the thing that perpetuates and propels you into what you're trying to manifest. So, for example, you're trying to manifest a lover. I just don't have love in my life. My relationships suck, and I just want that lover. I want someone to love me. But yet, your unresolved karma is you don't understand what self-love is. And you have past trauma of relying of codependency. You have unresolved trauma that, of neglecting the self. So you don't know how to attend to yourself, which means that you're not expressing yourself the way you truly tend to express yourself. So you're wanting all these variables in a love and a relationship, but you don't equal any of it. And what's preventing you from equaling that is not because you didn't imagine it, not because you didn't say your incantations enough. It's because you haven't resolved the karma that you have, the unresolved karma of self-love and self-appreciation. You haven't mastered it. So therefore, you can focus and manifest all you want. There's going to be no progression. That's bypassing the true spiritual process that will help you to evolve your soul, learn more about the self and the soul level that actually then will align you with the true love that you've been seeking all along. And I'll take it with another example. There might be a position where you have unresolved karma. You, in a past life, you stole from people. You stole from people. You took from people. You didn't appreciate money or other people's possessions. So you have a karmic unresolved that you just have to lose and understand what it's like to be tied with money and be taken advantage of. And that might be a karmic lesson you have to learn. And so to stop and resolve that karma, you're supposed to say, I appreciate my money. I appreciate what I have. I also appreciate what others belongs. I respect other people's belongings. I won't take from people. When you make that realization and then you start appreciating what you have, and also appreciate what others have and respect that, you resolve that karma. But if you're trying to manifest wealth and money because you're so stuck in poverty, you have lack of money, and you haven't recognized there's no appreciation for money, appreciation for others' belongings, that karma is unresolved. You can start to manifest all you want, all this money, and put on all those money subliminals. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Because you saw the unresolved karma of appreciation, of money, of your belongings and other people's belongings. And appreciating the simplicity. And as I'm saying this, I'm seeing simplements. The simplicity. But if you understand what your trials and challenges are telling you financially, like I've been tight, but I had to make do, but I'm appreciating what I have. And I also want to put more value into what I'm doing, more value to the money that I have, and appreciate others and be generous to others. You resolve that karma, and then you'll find ways to great financial success and financial abundance. I hate that word abundance, but stability and fruitfulness. So again, the manifestation culture blinds us to the aspect of spirit and pushes us in a direction focused on the thing, like a rabbit with a, carrot in front of its neck dangling. And every time it moves forward, so does the fucking carrot. And he's like, you're just chasing the carrot. I don't know. I saw a cartoon like that when I was younger. A rabbit had a carrot with a, like this with a pole, and it's just chasing the carrot. And the carrot, I don't know if you guys understand that analogy, but you're just chasing something that keeps going every time you go forward, and just this never-ending loop of that. because you're bypassing the actual work and the growth that requires you to have what you want to manifest, so to speak, because this isn't a manifestation game here that we're playing. This is a psychic discerning matching game that we're playing here. Because when you are intuitive, you're in the right vibe, you feel out, I like this vibe. I maneuver around the matrix like this. I feel pulled in this direction. And I don't like that energy. I'm going over here. I'm enjoying this energy. You're discerning enough to know how to manage your energy, but also maneuver yourself around energy that you feel in tune to or not in tune to. That's the point. That's the real essence of manifestation. How things manifestation. It's really about alignment, so to speak, but it's also about understanding your in tune and what you're in tune to the energy. And the more you know yourself, the more you've healed and resolved yourself, the more you become more aware of similar energy. But I see so many people saying they want all these expectations in a lover. I'm like, okay, what do you bring to the table? And they have two things. Excuse me, my sinuses. I have allergies all week. Well, I'm a good person. I'm pretty. It's like, but you want all this list, but you don't match that. So we got to start thinking about the matching game. Okay, that's the essence. That's real manifestation, and that starts with the inner work and and resolving the unresolved karma within the self. So that's would be spiritual bypassing, is manifestation, the culture in that sense. Okay, but I'll say this: when you resolve karma, and you've done your work, and you have a clean slate, you will feel like things are manifesting when you think about it, because you're so in tune to the self, you're so in tune to the external world, the external physical reality, that you're just bumping in with everything that matches. You're just dancing with the same energy. So it feels like everything's manifesting when I think about it. It's just alignment. That's all it is. And actual discerning psychic energy, right? So yes, that is the first cause of spiritual bypassing. My second cause of spiritual bypassing is the toxic positivity crap. Okay, which is suppressing real emotion. No, don't think about that. Gotta be positive. No, I can't think negatively about that. Nope, just positive. It's all good. Love and light, love and light, love and light. And that just really is bypassing actual real human emotion that is a messenger telling you where you're depriving yourself in your evolution, but also telling you the things that you will actually succeed on if you give attention to this. Anger is a very, very valuable emotion. Anger is saying you deserve better when you feel angry about something. I deserve better. I deserve better treatment. I don't believe that. I always say pain means no. If someone says something to you like, how dare they? You believe and deserve better. You believe and deserve better. And you believe that you deserve better. Because that pain's telling you, no, I don't agree. But instead, the toxic positivity says, but just don't pay mind to it. Just like positive thoughts, things positive. You're not addressing the actual beautiful message and key of wisdom that's in that emotion. Sadness is emotion of deprivation. Dive deep in the deprivation to find, what am I truly being deprived of here? Am I creating this deprivation? Am I giving someone else too much power? Yeah, I feel and nurture that emotion. No. Toxic positivity says you can't feel that emotion. You can't be angry. That's negative energy. That's bypassing the true details of your evolution, of where you're actually going wrong, so to speak, in life. And the things that you've really been depriving yourself of in your life. That is what we need to be looking at and focusing on. And then, yes, positive emotion. I would encourage you guys to get out of this whole positive negative bullshit. And say it's about empowered or disempowered, right? Expansive or non-expansive. Let's get into that terminology. And ask yourself, is what I'm thinking here, is that disempowering to me? Because sometimes a disempowering energy can be very revealing to patterns that you've been doing in your life. And diving deep, say, I feel this anger. I'm so pissed off that people treat me this way. I'm so fucking tired of being misunderstood. And say, okay, so what does that really mean? I deserve better. Process it. I deserve better. There you go. Deserve better what? I deserve respect and appreciation. Great. Now what? Do you respect and appreciate yourself? I probably don't if I allow other people to take advantage of me. Ding, 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 ding. I'm going to start appreciating myself. I'm going to set my boundaries. I'm going to understand my thresholds, and I'm going to push that appreciating value into myself. There you go. Now you're being empowered by it. That's the processing we all have to do with this duality of emotion that we're swimming in. The duality is part of all of us, actually. We have a divine feminine, divine masculine. But toxic positivity doesn't allow you to do that processing. There's no room for that type of processing. It's just, don't think it, do it the best you can, put on a hypnosis video, even though hypnosis videos can be very helpful, we're using all these tools for the wrong reasons, which actually diminishes the true value and significance of the tools that they're there for us, and outlets and resource. So what I say is, fuck toxic positivity. Allow yourself to experience a range of emotions, but what you want to do is be productive with the emotions to turn it into an expansive energy, and an empowered energy, not a depriving, disempowering energy. That's the point. Right? So, and that also leaves, and I tell people this toxic positivity of being positive is like, it's emotional dishonesty, but it's also delusion. It's escapism. So you're not confronting anything. So you're actually in avoidance mode, which is very negative. Avoidance mode is a very negative energy. So how paradoxical is it that someone could be love and light and positive energy, and that's a complete negative state? You know, it's like, hello, avoidance mode and delusion are not positive attributes. They're the most depriving states you could put yourself in by choice. You know, by choice. So yeah, that is spiritual bypassing. So if you're angry about something, and when you give attention to something in a way saying like, I'm hearing myself right now, you're not going to go and run over somebody and take your car and drive it through the mall just because you feel frustrated. That's people who are trying to, you know, avoid their emotions, do things like that. You're not going to slap that annoying person in the face you hear in the store. You know, you'll just address the annoyance and say, you know what, I'm encumbered by so much irritation. I need to give myself some space to breathe. Let me get out of here. You know, it's about being productive with it. And a lot of people, you know, say like, you know, the times they've actually shouted the most about wanting to have change, things actually happen. The time they're in their darkest hour, they found that like glimmer of like, this is the light of what I want. This is the key that I haven't realized. And they shout, and that negative energy is like a great energy to harvest, to push things forward, to put it into motion. So sometimes I like to use those negative emotions like, oh yeah, this is what I feel. I'm going to do this, right? And use that energy. But we just buy the light, pause, everything's great. No, I can't do that. There's no energy behind that. There's no dynamic with that. There's no honesty about that. So that's spiritual bypassing. And God, I can't tell you all these videos that pop up to me sometimes, like, you know, 111, hands on the screen, you're going to be a millionaire tonight. And all these people like this with the praying hands in the comment section, amen, amen. Yeah, that's going to work. Hi, amen. I said it 5 times, 333. You know, and just all the emojis. And all of a sudden, like, amen. Now they're like somehow religious, like with these manifestation videos of a millionaire overnight. And I want to go back and say, how many of you became a millionaire overnight with this video? Anyone? Anybody? You know, and that's again, my heart is saddened by that. So these people are they're in a state of desperation. These poor souls, they're in a state of just lack, and they're so detached that that's the thing that's making them feel happy, is that delusion. And my heart's like, I feel sad, but I also can't stand the people doing it that are grifting off that shit. I see this guy all the time, the hands on the screen, like that's going to do something. The hands are on the screen. No. That's spiritual avoidance. And when you allow yourself to just feel that emotion, feel the honesty of what your soul's trying to tell you. We came here to have that dynamic, to have that. If you saw a movie and the movie's just like, I'm loving light, everything's so great, everything's so positive, and there's no like mood or dynamic, how boring would that movie be? Or a song's just one tone, like would that just be so like, shut this fucking thing off. And that's what a lot of like positivity people are, just like love and light. It's like, shut up. You know, it's like it's a nuisance. We came for dynamic. We came for complexity. We came for experience. We came for contrast. We came for dynamic, as I said before. And that's what creates beauty. That creates beauty. That's what creates, you know, enrichment, experience, fun. And then we become less judgmental about like, oh, you know, I had this fucking emotion here. I was edgy. Then we start realizing there's like a characteristic there that actually like brings light to something else. It becomes more fun. And there wouldn't be a sitcom without that dynamic either of contrast of energy. So again, the toxic positivity sucks the life out of everything. And those toxic positivity idiots suck the life out of a room. And it's like, oh my God. Like, you know, just love life. And usually when they're like, they look like so anxious, love life, so positive, stay positive. You know, it's like, calm down. But we need that balance. And so I can go on about that one, but Another spiritual bypassing pillar for me is the faux healing communities. Sorry, guys. My allergies have been acting up, so I'm just trying not to do that thing on the microphone. The faux healing communities. Now, I want to preface this by saying healing in itself is not an illegitimate environment. But like I'm saying, there are communities that say that I'm just going to lay my hands on you, you're healed. Especially within the Christian, I just literally came across a video. This guy was on there saying like he had HIV or AIDS or something like that, and she's like, "You're healed in the name of Jesus of the demon of homosexuality and HIV. You are healed." He's like, "Oh my God," and it's like. And he's like, I'm like, is this for real? Like, I've been in the Christian religion. I've been through all that. But like, even for an old, Christian, I'm like, that shit's weird. And those people in the comments as a Christian, I'm a Christian. This is weird, right? So, so there's just a lot of that, like, just because you prayed it away, you healed, right? All we got to do is just do some Reiki on you. Then that trauma or that trauma's healed or that ailment is healed. It's like, those who do Reiki, those who do actual healing, understand the process to healing, because they understand, okay, in order for you to purge this physical ailment, we got to work on the deep-rooted trauma. So hypnotherapy, even doing Reiki to help people to relax and put them in some sort of meditative state to come to terms with the unresolved trauma. Past life regressions is a great form of healing. Those are things that help people to understand what's unresolved within them that they carry, because a lot of times we carry that unresolved, and that creates physical ailments, continuous physical ailments. And we resolve that, then we understand the body's starting to heal itself too. We are starting to behave differently and act differently, and things shift and we actually heal. But you see, communities, just put your hands on the screen, just say this 5 times. Jesus healed you, you're healed. And what that does, it preaches the wrong message to people. It's telling people you're not believing enough. God didn't heal you. Well, you're not gifted enough. What it tells you is that you're not pushing enough. I'm not letting go enough. Letting go of what? Because if you understood what to process, you'd let go naturally. See, letting go is a natural process, especially with healing. When you understand, why the fuck am I holding on to this? This has been difficult. It's burning me. You drop it automatically when you realize it's burning you. But just kind of saying, you're not letting go enough, honey. So you're not healing. Or you're thinking yourself into attracting this physical condition, honey. That's not what's really the healing method here. Now, again, our mentality, the energy we carry does influence when we're trying to mingle with other people and trying to, have other experiences. But so many people, the next time I see a praying hands emoji about getting something from Jesus and all that stuff, it's cringe. Pray harder, think harder, wish harder, 333 harder, 555 harder. You're not healing because you're not doing it enough. And people who need to heal usually need to stop doing so much. And usually that's stop worrying, stop avoiding. And people really to heal need to sit in the essence of their own energy. And the healing is diving deep into the trauma. Not because someone washed some freaking thing all over you. So again, like a lot of these things, like manifestation is a real essence, but they're taking that and corrupting it, I would say, in a way that's not real. So then it puts people back. Same thing with these toxic positive communities and these healing communities, right? And like I said before, the 5th pillar is religion. Religion. I've incarnated here, so I was a wonderful soul in non-physical, so I've incarnated here in the physical body just to wait for Yeshua to come back. Cycles and cycles of incarnations. Is Yeshua coming back? Not this incarnation. Oh well. Is he coming back in this incarnation? Keep worshiping up. I'm not worshiping up. Oh God, I'm a sinner. Christ is going to save me. He's going to come back and fix all the things of the world. Didn't happen. Not incarnate again. I'm still waiting for you, Yeshua. Are you coming back? I'm not worthy. I worship you. I'm not significant. I'm not valuable. Right? Self-condemnation, guilt, judgment, subservient energy, no power. You have no conscious awareness. You have no conscious thought. You have no control over your destiny. Just everything else is you're just puppet of this man in the sky. And I said in a couple episodes ago, poor Yeshua was looking down and saying, God, they're so fucking stupid people. Like my story is about creating leadership and a continuation of soul sovereignty. We live on. We're here to demonstrate love. We're here to demonstrate acceptance and awareness. That's what we're here to evolve. I was not here, Yeshua, saying to create freaking leaders to worship me and wait for me to come back and wait for me to do everything for them. I was here to create followers. That was my message. Especially religion, a lot of these other religions were very, very repressive to different forms of humanity, different forms of expressions, and different forms of people. Where it breaks up the collective energy and it demeans expression and evolution. Like some religions throw gays off buildings and put women in masks and, and suppress the female culture. And not to rag on tradition, because tradition can be great too, and there could be some spiritual meaning about tradition. But we're talking about the negative aspects of these religions that put people in suppression mode and subservient to other people, men in the, gods in the sky, right? So, and all that guilt, like if you don't hit the like button, you're a sinner. Okay. But we have to understand, like, that's not really evolving the soul. Does God sit back and say, okay, follow my orders, subserve to me, bow down to me, don't have your own desires, and don't learn through experience. You're supposed to fight everything in this physical world to define me. Does that seem rational? Or is there a God that says there's a whole soup of creation here, and we're all evolving at different modalities, experiencing different expressions, expanding perspective, knowing more who we are through the polarity of life? And the more you experience it, the more you evolve and the more you grow, the more you become more of like a God energy that can create other worlds and universes too. So you can evolve. That seems a little more rational than, I'm incarnating. Jesus come back yet? No, I died. Didn't have this incarnation. Did Jesus come back yet in this incarnation? No, I died. So religion has really prevented a lot of people from looking at their unresolved karma, their unresolved trauma. Jesus will pray it away, heal it away. And then I see so many people in those like Benny Hill and Benny Hinn things where just like, no one healed me. I wasn't healed. And it's like the healing comes from the understanding of self and soul. And someone just like, comes from the healing of the soul, right? And knowing the soul and like embracing and nurturing the soul. And using Yeshua's consciousness to understand what nurturing really is, not judging yourself. That's a whole but don't judge others. Therefore, you judge yourself, right? And so, when you understand, like, not to be judgmental about what you're doing, what somebody else is doing, and understand the evolution of the experience, then we're free. And then we actually understand, evolve spiritually, and become refined. We don't become refined by putting like blinders on and putting ourselves in freaking bubble wrap. We don't refine that way, So these are my four main pillars of the things that are actually prominent in the New Age communities as well within the religious communities that really is preventing the true spiritual essence of evolution, which is why people, I hate to say it, a lot of people just seem very ill-informed, unaware, not perceptive, not discerning. Because discernment comes from knowing the self. And knowing yourself means it's okay that you have a dark side. It's okay you have a polarity. How do you want to utilize that to be empowered? We came to be empowered. The ways you get there are irrelevant. And many lives have chosen very challenging lives of drug addiction and abuse. And I'm one of those people who've chosen abuse and those complications growing up as a kid too, with conversion therapy, sexual abuse, suicide ideation, and go on. Agoraphobia. I went through those traumas and, but I understand my soul's like, this is something I have to write out to expand. And so when you've evolved, you look back and say, gosh, if I didn't have those experiences, how would I be able to have refined my self perspective this way? And so the thing is, I was been saying to people, when you're in a challenge, stop trying to get out of it. Go through it. Stop trying to get out of it and say to yourself, you know what, like, what is this? What's up? What is this telling me? What do I need to like really focus on in this mission here? Let's do it. Let's go through it. You'll be surprised how fast you evolve out of it, but how good you'd feel in that process too. But I got to get out of it mode and trying to, hop out and pull yourself out of a karmic lesson and a destiny that you've chosen prior to incarnating is torture. It's torture. It's torture because soul's like, I need to be here. Be like, no. So you feel this tug of war, And so I'll tell you, when you feel like you resolve karma and you're moving on, you do got those thug life glasses on. You're like, yeah, thug life, because you're like, those epiphanies, those realizations, those expansions. Oh my God, you start realizing in life that wisdom is more rewarding than anything else that you could obtain in this physical world. That's the mastery. That's the spiritual evolution. And it's through the rifts and the tides and the ups and the downs and the contrasts and the pushes and the pulls and the aggravations and all that stuff is creating that momentum, the orchestra of your life to experience true harmony. Because you're riding through it, you understand its place, its purpose. You understand the dissonance in your life. You understand like why it's bringing that shade in my life right now. I understand it. And that's where things, when you embrace them, when you start expressing the realization of that turns into something that's really magical, unstoppable, valuable, and extremely powerful. And that's where other people start seeing you as an influence, and other people find the value too, and they start hovering around you. So this is what we need to be thinking about, guys. Sometimes you just might need to just like take a pillow and scream in a pillow and just let it out, purge it. And during this Aries season, you'll be tested with a lot of those things. Be true to what you feel. Process it. It's like, I want to fucking let that out. And then start saying stuff. Why do I feel this? Stupidly simple, guys. And lately my messages intend to be rather simplistic because I think so many people are overly mystifying spirituality. So many people are overly intellectualizing their minds, how they're processing. So I spent decades of my life refining my own craft, healing my own traumas to say, I want to simplify and bring spirituality down to home and ground it for people because we're all spiritual. I don't know how to be spiritual. You are spirit. Perhaps you just want to be more conscious of what's going on in your life and understand that's your spiritual journey. That's your spiritual journey. Whatever, being conscious of what's going on in your life, that's your spiritual journey. Just be conscious. That's spirituality. To be human. So, scream in your pillow. But, and I've been around so many environments and I study quantum physics and all this information. And I said, all of that means nothing if I don't have wisdom. I could parrot information, recite stats and all that stuff as I used to do. And I still get into a lot of things like dimensionality of spirit. I'll get into those like different dimensions. But right now we have to keep things simple and understand the integration of physical life with the simplicity of our living and breathing soul that is conscious of this physical body. Let's ground it on in. Because the disease in this world is everyone focusing on whatever else is fucking doing. I don't know if I agree with transgender. Well, who the fuck asked you? That exists. I don't know if I agree with the gay lifestyle. Well, you're not sleeping with them. What do you care? I don't agree with your religion. I don't agree with your stance on things. So what does that mean? Should you stop doing what you're doing? I love when someone asks this like this Christian idiot hypocrite saying like, do you believe gay marriage should exist and not be in school? And he said, no, it should not exist. It should be banned in schools. Gay marriage should be banned. They should not be teaching about those things. And the guy goes, so how would you feel if they banned religion in schools? Well, I wouldn't like it. You see the hypocrisy of like, what does somebody else do that so threatens you so much? And so that just goes to show that when you're not evolving and taking and tending to the self, and a lot of those religious Christian nationalists are like that because they're so not focused on truly evolving that it becomes about everybody else, and that's what's bothering to them and makes them reflecting to them their own uncomfortability and their own unresolved. So that's why the hyper focus on other people sinning. But meanwhile, 186 Christian pastors were, charged with sexual child abuse in 2025 alone. Go figure, right? So we need to start attending to ourselves because if we don't, then we start becoming critical of others, start judging others. We're online, in the comment sections, being miserable people. And what you're doing when you're in those states, you're contributing negative cancer to society, to the collective consciousness, and therefore you are responsible for actually the decline of humanity. That's why I tell people who put that negative energy out there. I'm kind of preaching to the choir because no one here does that. But those people are the cancers of society because they're just spewing out all this negativity because they're not looking at themselves. They're focused on everybody else. As everyone else is trying to get things ahead, they're the ones that are actually holding things back and creating this chaos. But we're in the time now in 2026, 2027, where those people are falling to the side. Those people can be trampled on. Because the astrology calls for things to be revealed and things to take power. And it's calling for humanitarianism. We're in the age of Aquarius. So therefore, it's calling for everybody to unify and be more collectively focused. And no one gives a fuck about your opinions. No one cares about what you think and what you feel. Hate to break it to you. Most people just don't care about you, period. That's the reality. But what makes people care? When you bring something of value to the table. When you share something of value to people around you. When you're doing something valuable for yourself, that's when people care. But those you think you want to just like put your opinions in comment sections or put your opinions like wherever they are or to people and no one cares what you have to say or think. So that's why you need to stop thinking about what people think about you to where you think you have to express it and focus more on what am I doing that's valuable for other people and valuable to myself? What's productive for me? Then you have people's attention. Then you're doing something productive and influential, right? So I think it's important for us to think about this right now. I think it's important for us to really focus on, you know, the priorities of self, the priorities of if we are here in this physical life, conscious and a physical being, what's the point of that? What's the point of challenges? Instead of saying, oh, life sucks, life is hard. Well, it's hard because you're not understanding how to master it. When you understand how to master it, which means that you're looking at the challenges as defining moments for you that they're there to enrich your life, well, then you won't have a hard time with life. You see, like, life is kind of amazing. Life is entertaining. I'm never bored. So, you know. But this is a time for this, guys. Find the passion. Find the true meaning of what you would desire. So if you're always focused on external sources, try to internalize and say, if this pisses me off out there, what am I neglecting to deprive myself in that relation to that energy within myself? If I need this from here, then what am I not providing for myself that where I need it from the external source, right? So those are the things you want to, you know, start focusing on now and then put that into play. Put that into a productivity mode, okay? Very simple message, guys. Nothing overly complicated here. And the goal is to keep that simple because, again, it's a reminder of where we should be with our focus and our thought processes right now. Okay? And, you know, next week, perhaps we'll get into more kind of like more spiritual dynamics again. Because a lot of times I like to go into depth of philosophy and the dimensions of spirit and psychic ability and soul and all that great stuff. And the structure of reality. And so we'll get into that too. But a lot of people are needing more emotional guardrails right now and spiritual guardrails. And that's why I feel like a lot of these messages are repetitive, but we have to be reminded of that to keep us on track. And that's what this point of this message is for. Okay. So, all right, we'll get into the live readings. I'm just going to take a mild little break so I can get situated. So just run a short little commercial. That's only because I don't have, did you hear that? So because I don't have a message from Nina. She's not feeling well today. And so I usually have her as a nice little break, but I'm just going to run a 2-second commercial so I can get situated for the live readings, guys. Be right back. And it's not there. Go figure. Well, I shifted files, so I'll just do it now. You guys just wait because the commercial's not there. We'll just hit that like button, y'all. And if you haven't checked out last week's episode or last night's episode of Leading Out Loud, check it out. You know, it was interesting. It was very interesting energy. I was like on Sudafed last night because my so congested, ears were popping, and Christopher was tired, and there's like so many tech issues, you know. And just to be transparent, you guys, I like to like rant about stupid people's comments and all this stuff too. But someone's like, Scott, stop talking over people. Like, you need to grow up in your personality and stop, you know, no, you have great ideas, you're insightful, but like, know your place. I'm like, bitch, I've been producing this show for 2 years. I know my communication. I said, there's delay. We're not in the same room. There's like lag. I can't hear Chris. Like, you don't know what's going on. Don't be talking about my personality. I'm a 44-year-old man. Know your place, you know. But people just assuming they know what's going on because they're viewing something for 5 minutes. And it's like, there's a lot of that bullshit energy around, which irritates me. But I think that's, again, very reflective of the collective consciousness of like, just everybody has to like do what they want them to do instead of like being internal and saying, I'm becoming a better person, you know? So many people are just so off on their discernment. So guys, be the ones that are leading with discernment, guys. Teach these people, okay? because so many people are lacking discernment and they're just so off, you know. But it's just, and then somebody else is like, you know, and I want to do a segment badly, so I'm gonna like kind of rant about this for a moment. You guys always say I miss your rants, so I want to do a segment Trolls of the Week and just pick out the most stupidest comments. Someone just commented like randomly, says a person who has a tattoo on his chest. Really? How'd that get there? I didn't know I had a tattoo on my chest. Because somehow having a tattoo somehow determines someone's intellect level. Okay. You know, and so it's just like these really like low perceptive. I'm trying to be kind with my words on this here. You know, and I'm like, I know you don't have much experience and knowledge about tattoos. I'm sure like, you know, there's not much outside the trailer park other than tramp stamps, but you know, tattooing is an ancient tradition, goes back to 25,000 BCE. You know, in Egypt times, it was like a sign of like a ritual ceremonial. I keep having this word, ceremonial tradition. It was like seen as status, and it was done for ritualistic purposes and had like significant meaning. That's where tattooing started, you know. And so when I see someone just like, you know, somehow they think they got me because I just claimed that I had a tattoo on my chest. Like, well, I didn't know that was there. How'd that get there? You know, and so there's just a lot of this. And I think now we need to start like standing up to those things. I've been saying it for a while too. Stand up to this behavior, call it out, because it's running rampage. There needs to be people changing things and being effective and shifting and shaping the currents on things right now, the way our human collective consciousness is going. So we need to take a stand in little moments. And even if you see someone saying something cruel, and, you know, there's a friend of mine, a musician I've been mentoring, and she's awesome. She's so freaking cute. And some old man in his like 40s with this long, ugly beard is commenting on a 21-year-old's music post saying, mad lame. And I go to his profile. I'm like, and this is like white guy, bald, long beard, like throwing gang signs, like posing. And I'm like, dude, like many people could look at your page and say mad lame to your content too. I said, but who cares? Like, this is a 21-year-old girl, right? And it's like, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, oh, you just don't say anything. But I feel like now, just like correct these people. There needs to be correction with bad behavior is the point I'm trying to make. And I think we all need to be leaders in this way, to take a stand and standing up for what is right and start calling out the bullshit. Because the reason why we're in the state we're at now with this divisive energy, because people's like, oh, turn a blind eye. Oh, take the high road. Oh, don't focus on it. Oh, ignore it. Guess what happens? Guess what happens with ignorance, right? You ignore things. It creates more ignorance, and so therefore that's why this is built up, because people don't feel the right. They're empowered to spew that energy now, because no one stands up to it, no one contradicts it, no one corrects it. You know, so we all have to start correcting things in our own right and standing up for what is good behavior. You know, and good, of course, could be subjective, but behavior that's just not fragmenting. Right. And I've just been like on a rampage with that lately. I'm like, what is getting into you, Scott? And I said, because I love to I have a therapist because I love to have philosophical conversations with my therapist. We're always talking about philosophy. But then I was talking today about this. I'm just like, you know, like this is like, I feel vigilant. I feel like, you know, it's the behavior I want to correct now. And like, I want to make the best for society and put that on display. And my therapist is like, he goes, perhaps you're acting in too much good faith with these people that they would actually understand it. I'm like, true. True. I said, but I feel vigilant because I want to ship and shape the currents as much as I can and be a demonstration for that. And I'm just saying there's been a zeal for this, you know, because I mean, I don't care what you think about me, but it's just like, it's the behavior, right? And so, but I feel like it's in a lot of us. And I see a lot of people like standing up, taking stands. I think we need to be doing that right now as a collective and bring shift and change and let that noise become silent, you know. But it's not so much, and you're right, Karma, that you can't reason with unreasonable people or you can't get through to stupid, but sometimes just correcting it is actually, the energy itself shuts it down, right? And then other people see that, and other people see that there's someone being so, and then that changes their perspective and maybe makes them think twice about what they're going to say to people or behave to people, you know? So it does create, you know, that. Yeah, it's because I keep banging my thing. Anyways. But use your voice, guys. But use it as productive. Stand up. You know, if you see something, you know, we always see people who are being like bullied and people just videotaping instead of like getting in the way. you know, and trying to intervene, and people just like entertained by it, you know, like stand up, take a stand. And if we all did this and use our voices, you might find a you know, something else that stems from you using your voice, right? All right, enough of that soapbox. Let's get into these readings. But I'm very passionate about these times, man. It's just like, I want to, like, you know, ay. Okay. Question from Ron Bloom. Okay. I'm headed to Michigan next week to visit family. A challenge, and there's always something going on. Do you sense anything with family? Most concerning is my brother. He's in hospital again. There's nothing additional I sense with your family. And you said hospital again, because I did feel the repetitive occurrence. No, I think, you know, people are with your family are not really speaking up. I feel, you know, I feel like there's a lot of, you know, your family's kind of pacifying a lot of things. No one's really speaking up. So I feel like there needs to be more of that conversation with your family right now during this time. You know, everyone just seems like they're being silent. They're just hanging their head low. So I think you might be a good person to kind of start conversation, provoke conversation that can help, like, you know, bring some sort of enlightenment to the situation, or at least just a purge of emotion. But your brother's energy, again, your brother doesn't feel like he's on, you know, the tail end of, you know, like he's in the hospital again, but like I feel like this is a reoccurrent issue with him, and I feel like there just needs to be more intervention of what he's changing, because I don't feel like he's doing any changes with his health. It feels like he's just maybe neglecting certain things, orders that he should be doing. So he feels resistant to change in a sense. So I feel like there's that arrogance of like, I don't want to do anything, and stubbornness in a sense. So you might also have to be the one to say, hey, look, brother, you need to like get your act together here with this, and you know, be more into like taking care of yourself, because there's that energy of like, you know, it is what it is. And yeah, I'm not going to overextend myself to make things better energy, you know. And I think that perhaps because everyone just seems like so like numb around with the family, that perhaps there needs to be you to kind of maybe just shake things up and wake people up just a little bit, you know. But everyone just feels so complacent is what I get with that energy, Ron. Honestly, everyone just feels so complacent. So, you know, try to liven things up and get people to maybe see things a little differently, a little better. You know, I think that'd be helpful. But it's nothing major that really happens either, you know. There might be perhaps a new discovery, you know, with another health aspect, because I was sensing something with the lung and the esophageal area too, you know. So there might be something additional with your brother's esophagus. Perhaps maybe there's fluid in the esophagus. I feel like acid in the esophagus too, that could perhaps been causing some issues in the esophagus as well. How many times am I going to say esophagus? Just I'm trying to read and say, so there's something also with the esophageal region that might be an additional aspect with your brother with swallowing, you know. You know, perhaps, you know, it doesn't feel like an esophageal hernia, but it feels like something causing pressure with an acidic nature in that too. Might be something additional. Because your brother's internal, you know, system feels very highly acidic, too. You know, and I feel like there's medications he's on that's not helping, but he's not doing anything else to combat the medications. You know, so yeah, it just feels like he's, you know, he's not really focusing on things, you know, to make himself better. You know, so. Alcoholism is a part of it with other stuff. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense of the acidity that I feel with him. But, you know, and let me tell you something, Ron, you might just have to stand up and say, you know, look, you guys are not addressing anything. So like, I'm done with this. I'm not enabling this, you know? Yeah, he's on nervous. Yeah. That stuff ain't working, because I felt like just, you know, blockage here in the esophageal region and the acidic energy, almost like a burning sensation. So, interestingly enough, I'm surprised his liver is okay. Don't ask me how. Not that it's perfect, but there's like more the respiratory stuff I think he's having, and more gut stuff for some reason. You know, it's topping it off. You know, it's a lot of little things in your brother, but just again, rinse and repeat with your brother. It really feels like that energy. You know. All right, Allison Riley. Question: I'm having a financial dispute with someone. How do you see this playing out? For some reason, I feel like they don't want to give the full amount to Allison. Yeah, I feel like there might be a dispute. They might dispute the full amount or be like, I'm going to give you a little bit. So I feel like there might be a partial on this, but not the full. And somehow a dispute and a fight about them and being entitled to like paying the full amount to a certain degree or doing the full amount. So yeah, I feel like there's going to be a continuation of that. So there's going to be some sort of meeting in the middle aspect, unless you want to keep pushing. But it's like either they're not entitled to full amount, they want to pay a full amount, or yeah, something of them not getting all of it, or even if you have to pay the full. It just feels like this. So it's going to take a while for a resolve on this. It doesn't feel like an easy breezy. I just feel like they're trying to cut in half the responsibility, if that makes sense. But eventually it'll be resolved, and eventually, things will be kind of like, all right, we kind of settle upon this, and okay, fine, and not having to want to deal with it. But I feel like they're going to be dragging it out, and unnecessarily, just like a nuisance in a sense, when it comes to that. But just maintain your position. It feels like, to maintain your position, because I feel like they're saying like, oh, because of this, I don't have to do this, and because of that, I have to do this, and like just as avoidance, and oh, because of that, yeah, it just, I don't know. Yeah, you're gonna have to maintain your position on this, because it doesn't feel like someone's like, okay, we're gonna go to court, we're gonna process this. Okay, I let the judge say I'm not, or it doesn't feel like that. It feels like avoidance. They're being very sketchy. Yeah, well, that makes sense. And yeah, and look, I'll tell you this, Allison. I can really sense that this is more about principle to you too. And so you should stay on the principle too, but also ask yourself, what's enough for you to get the principle part across, and then also allow yourself to push for the logistics of it as well. But I think part of your needs go through this for the principle effect. Right, standing your ground. So this is also kind of that soul evolution. Okay, so yeah, but in the end, I feel like there still will be a resolve on that. Okay, yeah, because I'm like, this is not really so much the money for her; it's the principle thing for her. But just saying, this is teaching you something too that you still need to push through with that. And you will. And then if you're saying, I made my point, I got some of it back, I'm good, you move on. That's how I feel, with that happening. Okay. Card pull for Abiko. Abiko. I always like combine Abiko. Abiko. A lot of things coming out here. Okay. The emphasis, I'll just show you the cards, because I know you did a card pull, so we're doing cards, and it's flashy. Changed changed it up for live show when I'm just doing channeled reads. Good 4 of Wands, the 5 of Cups, 2 of Wands, and the 3 of Pentacles. So it's kind of telling a story here. Right. So first thing is, like, with the 4 of Wands, came in a reverse position, then it went back into the normal position. And you're also getting the Tower card here too. So there's something about your home life that you need to let go of. And the emphasis needs to be on the home life, and your home environment. That can mean changing the environment around, redoing the environment around, cleaning the environment, right? And you might have to maybe even lose certain things of that environment to allow you to kind of like purge and so forth. So I just feel like there needs to be a purge of the home life and resituating your home environment. Because then with the 2 of Wands, it's showing like, looking beyond. That's kind of like, there's a journey ahead. And with the 3 of Pentacles coming with that is saying that there's going to be more of a sense of community. So almost like prepare your home for guests. To prepare to entertain, prepare to allow new people to come in. So I feel like there's going to be a huge chapter of you connecting with new friends, new people, maybe community people. Maybe you want to entertain a little bit more, right? Because the Tower card is really, people like always when the Tower comes out, oh my God, the Tower card. And I say the Tower card is all about change and restructuring. And it's like right now, what you want to emphasize and focus on is restructuring a lot of your life to welcome in community, to welcome in guests, to welcome in the entertaining aspect of life. Because I see you putting on dinner parties and maybe having a couple people over like for dinner and movie. And so I see more of that entertaining. So get your home life together, like get it more situated, get it more comfortable, get rid of things in your life and purge things in your home life that perhaps that carry energy that's from your past that you don't need. So this is more of an energetic read, actually. There might be even things from like you carried on from your your last place. Like maybe there's so for example, maybe you have like a rug or something like that has mold on it from past place, but that place the rug is clean, but still got some like stuff on it in a sense. So you want to get rid of it, like things you just don't need, and redo. And so yeah, I just felt a new essence of home life, which then welcomes in friendships, new connections, and entertaining, and restructuring. All right. So that sounds cool. But yeah, they were just showing you get a gathering with people, this summertime too, and making new connections, new friends. And so I think that's pretty cool, and sometimes, when Spirit advises the upgrade of home life, it's like really personalizing your home to understand this is my vibe. This is my current. This is what, my energy is, you know what I mean? So, okay, there you go. Yeah, purge that stuff. Clear out the clutter. As well. And maybe get rid of some stuff. And maybe this is all because it's also felt like new. So perhaps it's also your new place. Maybe this is like setting up your new place too, right? We were saying. So perhaps that's also put the emphasis on that. Let's get my new place situated. Let's get the old stuff gone. And so perhaps that's also what it's saying too. So, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? I think you clarified there that makes sense. And this was sitting at me. I'm like, should I pull the 7th card? And it's celebration. So this is now making sense because the 30 cups here is celebration. That's like a gathering and just like having fun with people. So, and being festive. So I guess, and it's funny, I saw 3 people, including you. So that makes sense why that was just lingering there. So I should have pulled that because I'm like, I pulled enough cards here. But yeah, so perhaps I see 2 new people entering your life, 2 new friendships or 2 connections. So yeah, so let's personalize it. I'm in my new place that I like. Great. So there it is, a new place. But it's just temporary place though. So I've left, so I can't really settle in. Well, you can, it's just make it home. My love, make it home. Either way, whatever you can do, just make it home. And let me explain to you. When I go to like a hotel room, I'm like, okay, set up. So I make that place my temporary, wherever it's my temporary home, it's my vibe. Learn how to create and expand your vibe in a place if it's temporary or not temporary. Because I just felt like a new environment, and just still make it your vibe to settle in even still. And don't let that say because it's temporary, oh, like I have to, wait until this in order to like connect with people and so forth. And so I think the key message here is like make any space, temporary or not, your space, and learn that trait. So that makes sense. Now you said that makes even more sense. I'm like, yeah, she's in a new place. Duh, new home energy. Duh, right? Stop me silly and call me psychic. Right? So, I love saying that. But I see a lot of good ahead though with that, Abby. Really good, new friendships, which I like. I'm kind of wanting to settle in somewhere, but I feel torn between here and family in Alabama. I know this is just a card pull. This is becoming like almost like a half read here. But I'm going to make you make that choice. I don't make the choice for you. I want you to discover what's best for you now. But I'll give you a clue. I don't think you're moving close to your family is the current phase yet for that. You know what I'm saying? It does feel like perhaps it might be later on. But I still feel where you're at now still needs some more time. We'll just say that. And I want the rest to be on you on that, okay? Because I want you to create more in a fashion that's, you making the realization, not because it was told to you on this specific one. Okay. But yeah, I think that you still have more time here. You have more time here. All right. She's back. Where'd you go, Christina? Where the hell did you go? She's like, I'm back. I love it. All right. Next is carpool for Dharma. Ooh, I like this card. The shuffling is kind of sticking together right now. Yay! Christina's back. Shall we give her a round of applause that she's back here? Yay! Welcome back, Christina. Round of applause for Christina being back. Thank you, everybody. Very going on. Wow, they're really loving you back, Christina. Welcome back. So happy. Even the monsters are excited. That was a long one. All right. Card pull for Dharma. These card pulls are loaded today. So y'all getting a cheap deal on these card pulls, or a good deal, I would say. But I have to say, those who actually are getting like full jam-packed card pulls are my regulars. So you're my VIPs, baby. Abby, you're my VIP, and Dharma, you're my VIP. So we give a little extra for my VIPs. Which I'm thinking about creating a VIP membership on my website. I'm just trying to figure how that would even work, what I would do, because I'm so not like salesman focused, but I do want to do something special for my regulars because I'm going on now the 14th year this year will be. And some of y'all, I've been with you all for so long, for some 10 years, some 14 years. Felicia's been so many years, that I want to do something like unique and something like a little hub on my website for you guys. That's like extra stuff and maybe different options, perhaps maybe you can do like text readings with me instead of like booking full sessions. You can have like pay this amount and like, so I'm trying to figure that out for my regs and my VIPs. So I'll keep you all posted. Because I'm not the salesman mentality. I've always made great money doing what I'm doing. So, and my dad just said, this stupid kid has his own show, LOL. He's so proud of me. My dad is hilarious. All right. Dharma. Here's a card for you, Dharma. Dharma, you got the Fool card as the first card here, and the Devil card, and the Ten of Pentacles. So, I'll tell you what this means, because I really feel like there's a new beginning karmically. We talk spiritually with you, and that with that new beginning, it really is something about focusing on the body, more focusing on sensuality, sexuality, focused on the body, healing the body, maybe even focus on healing of your own body, but also associate to others' bodies as well. So I really feel that new beginning is going to be more body focused, but connecting the body with spirit. Right. I don't remember we talked about the last time, so I'm not trying to be redundant. So I don't remember the previous sessions unless we talked about something for so long forever. I don't remember. So if there's something I said in the last session, it's continuing. I don't mean to be redundant, but it's coming up. And so I think there's going to be a lot of integration, a lot of awareness and expertise in the human body, your own human body, to healing and all that great stuff, and wanting to express that and help others with the same as well. And so I think that's a wonderful change, a wonderful elevation of understanding the connection with the mind, body, spirit connection. As cliche as that sounds, it's true. And with the Ten of Pentacles, I mean, that one was kind of threw me for a loop because that's my inheritance card or investment card. So there would be some sort of unexpected monies. And every time I get this thrown at me, I'm like, Spirit, so what is it? And they're like, they're not supposed to know. Keep it mysterious. I'm like, oh, God damn it. So there will be some unexpected monies, and perhaps the Spirit kind of blinds me to the specifics of this because it's going to be rendering at the time that you need it in a different fashion. So that could be random. Sometimes Spirit's like, oh, we'll put this here for her, right? So there will be some unexpected monies to help you to invest in something or to push something forward more. But that money feels like it's handed down to you either through inheritance or through spirit themselves, or you're directed to a slot machine or something of that nature. But it feels unexpected money's coming through to help to assist, or to get some sort of endeavor pushed, right? But definitely focusing on the spiritual connection with the physical body and how to heal with, and in conjunction how you can help others with that is kind of the emphasis they're saying that will bring movement this year in that regard. Okay. So that's kind of exciting, I would say. We have a card pull for random card for Kate. I love Kathleen. I love when you're. It's been how many years? The 2 years I've been online. It's always random card pull for Kate. Like I memorized it. Like I love how you're so consistent, Kathleen. I love it. It's amazing. Okay, here's a random card pull for Kate. And all right, James Porterfield, you found a new investment opportunity that will lead to something big. There you go. What did I tell you when you lost that money? Remember that time, James? I hate to be Papa Psychic here and saying I told you so, Sonny boy, and I'm being very playful about that because I'm starting to feel like a daddy here. But remember I told you had that financial investment to go well. I said, yeah, but like that, you're gonna cut that loss, but something else is going to come in as an investment that's going to replace and like bring the fulfillment in from that loss. Remember I told you that the last time? I just want to say, Daddy's saying I told you, but I'm always saying this because, because the anxiety. I want you to check yourself. So when you're dealing with your anxiety, check yourself saying, well, things did work out, or things didn't go the way I thought they went. Thank God. Like this way can help you navigate anxiety when it comes up again, So hell yeah. Let's give a little round of applause, a short clapping for James. Congratulations. And we knew it. Go with it. Everything's good for you, brother. You have a lot ahead for you. Okay. And you're my brother. I did hit back from my dude, and I still have the money. And I still have the money that I invested with him. You still have? Did you get the money back, James? I'm confused on what you said. Did he give it back in the full amount, or what? Because that's even better if it worked out that way. Because that truly shifted. So yeah, James, like, did you get the money back from that too? So, all right, here's a poll for Kate. Anybody else have no sound? Test. Do y'all have sound? Yeah, there's sound on their end. I'll wait to do this. Nina, tell Kate I'll wait to do her read when she comes back so she can hear it. So just type in the text if you can, Nina, for me. Let Kate know that I'll pause, and when she comes back, I'll do it. Okay? Thanks, Mama. Okay, question from Rebecca. My dog Zelfie is scared of people. She jumped out of the dog park today. Is there a reason why? What can you do to help ease her anxiety? Am I doing something wrong, or is it just the way she is? There's two things. It's the way she is, but I also think you're being too scared for her too. So let's do a little Caesar Milan. You're going to have to find some sort of control in an environment where there's people, so then she also is not exhibiting that fear too, because I think you get fearful and that she feels it. So and you have to find ways to keep training her, like, it's okay, stop, stay down, stay. Keep her on a tight leash. Stay here. Come on. And perhaps she needs to be on a short leash for a while. It is her, but it also is you're feeding the energy because you feel over, like when she has a mood, I feel like, oh my God, I think you easily are affected by her mood too. So it's kind of, you're bouncing off of each other a little bit. And, quite frankly, Rebecca, I feel like part of you, has a fear of being around people too. I think she's also mirroring something within you, not to the degree that she's experiencing, but part of you just doesn't like to be around people either. And that's not a bad thing. Maybe you just want to like level that out intellectually for yourself. Yeah, maybe I don't like big groups, or maybe I do. Maybe just like, maybe people are, maybe need space for yourself right now too. Just maybe level that out with yourself, because I feel like she's also feeding on something within you that also is like, I don't want all these people around. And it's like, just come to terms with maybe what you're feeling with that deep down. Resolve that, and then take more control, because I feel like you can level this out with her, but it is how she is. But you guys are I feel like you guys are feeding each other's energy too, So, but there's a similar fear, not to the extent that your dog has, but there's something about you probably have a fear of being on display with people. I feel there's you being on display with people. There's a fear of that. Not that you can't tolerate being around people. There's a fear of being on display with people that I feel like you have. And I keep hearing embarrassment. Like there's a fear of embarrassment. Perhaps like you're afraid of being embarrassed, like being in an embarrassing situation around people. And so maybe you're self-conscious around people, you know what I mean? And so I do feel like that's something that is also perhaps buried down inside that your dog also relates to. And then when she's feeling that way, then, you know, it's exacerbating the energy. So it's more of that dynamic, I would feel like with your dog in that circumstance. But come to terms with the fact of embarrassment in front of people. Come to terms with the fact of, you know, trying to, you know, be uncomfortable or overthinking how you present yourself around people, and just like let go of that. You know, and say, who cares about these people? Let me say this to you, Rebecca. Okay, just so you understand how other people are. Just when you think people are judging you, do you know how many people crap their pants? I'm not kidding you. I've had so many conversations about people who sharded or crap their pants in public, and they're like, "You haven't?" I'm like, I haven't done that yet. There's one time I maybe laughed too hard and had a little accident, but, you know, or I trusted it too, but I never got to that point. So people, I crapped my pants one time out in public. I'm like, what? So there's so many people out there that are doing things that you wouldn't even believe that's really embarrassing to them. And then they have that stone cold face, like, don't look at me. And you might think they're an asshole, but they just crap their pants. Yes, I'm trying to be playful and comical, but that's real too. That's actually reality as well. Because I'm like, I remember having this group discussing, like, y'all crap your pants? How many of y'all people crap their pants? Oh yeah, it happens all the time. I'm like, what? Yeah, I was out at the park one time and I had to run. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad I heard this. But then I realized I used to have a fear of that. I used to have a fear of myself, like, what if I crap my pants in public? And I realized no wonder I was being infiltrated by all these people saying this. Life has shown to me, you know, look how many people have done it themselves. You know, so that kind of eased my anxiety because I used to have bathroom anxiety, right? So I'm like, how funny is that? That I met all these people have done it. I always had a fear of that happening, and that kind of made me relieved about it. If it were to happen, oh well, other people have done it, right? So there's other people that have so many hangups too, and are just as human as you. You know, so sometimes it takes a really disgusting, crass conversation to level things out in reality, you know. So, and what a shitty subject, Linda Jane says, right? What a shitty thing to say. But, you know, people have their own hangups and anxieties too, you know. And I always see sometimes people appear to be like an asshole, but they're like full of anxiety and they're just like, you know, insecure. So just relax and knowing other people have their anxieties and insecurities too, you know, and just come to terms with yours and saying like, hey, we're all kind of figuring this shit out. And then you can level it out. Your dog is mirroring that same energy, you know? So, but yeah. Okay, Kate, you're back. All right. Let's go back to the card pull for Kate. My mom is so ridiculous. You're good with that topic. My poor mother. I got my dad and me, her and my partner are so crass. My mom was full restaurant with men, and I can't even tell you. This is what happened during Christmas. Just constant flatulence and a competition between my partner and my father between their flatulence levels. And I can go for one for money, but I felt so bad. My mom's like the only woman he has to deal with all this fucking literal crap. So my mom, when she says enough of the topic, I'm like, okay, I'll give it to her because that's hilarious. Okay, Kate's is fragmented here. Let me start over with this. Yeah, it's came up again. Okay. I don't know, you know, I can't even pull a card. I just feel there's so much, for Kate, there's just so much fragmented energy. I feel just push and pull, you know, I feel like there's still something unresolved, lingering from a relationship again. Something's resurfacing. Kate's beating herself up too much. You know, but then I feel like you have what you need. So this is going to be very general. I just have to say what's coming because none of it really makes sense. But I feel this like huge, like contempt of self energy. I'll just show you the cards. 3 of Swords is like still about heartache and processing tough emotion. You know, the Lover's card, again, it's circling relationships. And the 9 of Cups is also saying there's still everything you need is around you right now. And the 8 of Wands is saying like there's quick movement. So I think whatever emotional drop there has been lately is temporary. but it's still connected to relationships. And there needs to be a resolve on relationships and in easing this knot in the stomach. This, what my mom and I say, and my dad, my family says, he goes, agita in the stomach. Got to ease that somehow, you know? But I feel like this year, like you'll have the support that you need, and you'll have, and understand you do have the resources that you need, and things will move quickly in your life once you kind of get over this little hurdle, feels like. And there's quick movement. And the quick movement could go, you know, correlate again. It's a random card pull. It's not so in depth, but that could be like movement with other relationships, quicker relationships, better relationships, and better environments, more fun. And so the movement is like really entailing all that, you know. So that's something perhaps you might want to like consider, you know, with that. But there's like good at the end of this though, like a good relationship. There's good, you know, good movement after this. So understand maybe that emotional hurt and stint has been something that's created that knot that's about to unravel, and that's where things become free. You know, yeah, Illuminated Pro says lots of anger and isolation. Yeah, that's kind of the times right now, Illuminated. So it was kind of what I was saying in the collective message in the beginning, which was very important about understanding the true self, the true identity. And, you know, a lot of that anger is you believing you deserve better. So what do you deserve better on? So if you're isolating, you're saying to yourself, I'm angry and I'm isolated, which means you believe that you deserve better. And you need more space. And so perhaps you're not allowing people to give you space, or people are not giving you space, or you're congesting your space with people that are just not appreciating you. And I think that perhaps you just have to allow people to, one, be who they are, but, you know, understand that you don't have to suffer fools gladly either. You can definitely say, these people are frustrating me, these points of view. I don't have to judge myself because I want to tell them to go fuck themselves either. You know, some people need to have the fuck off approach to say fuck off, you know. But I just feel like you consider people too much. Consider this a freebie, Illuminated Pro. You consider people too much, and then you judge yourself because you're not compassionate enough, saying not everyone deserves compassion. And y'all listening, take heed to this. You can respect people for being human and for whatever you're going through, but you don't have to show compassion just because. And you don't have to have compassion for somebody if they're not getting it. You can wish for them to have like a realization. That's fine. But when you're saying I have to say fuck off to someone, but that's not compassionate, they don't deserve that compassion. Sometimes if they're putting out a very destructive, chaotic, and fragmented energy, the only way to deal with it is to slap it back somehow. And so don't judge yourself because you have to tell someone to fuck off. And I think that's what puts you in contempt, Illuminated Pros, because then you judge yourself because you're not allowing yourself the space to feel what you need to feel, to allow yourself to receive what you need to receive. It's simple. And so when we behave in that fashion, and I think your question was great because I wanted to like have other people hear this, is that if you're setting the tone to take advantage, they're going to take advantage. If you're setting the tone for people to show up and you to be considering of whatever people do and just throw out respect, you're going to attract people that just want to take your respect and take whatever you have to offer. You're not going to attract people who show up who don't need it from you if that's what you're just giving it away, right? And I always use analogies like you go to the mission, you start throwing out money to people, the homeless people just grab that money. Some will push each other out of the way to grab that money. Do you think they're going to give it back? Do you think there's going to be someone there in the mission wanting to invest in you? Fuck no, they're not. But so don't do that with your energy. Don't just say, here's energy here. You get my energy. You get my energy. You get compassion. You get all this, even though they're not showing up in, you know, they're there to take and there to be in the needy position. So that's what you're going to keep surrounding yourself by. But in this space, you got to understand, like, okay, what have I been getting and what do people deserve and what they do not deserve? And I deserve what I'm putting out, if not better. So not everyone deserves your consideration, Illuminated. I'm telling you, not everyone deserves your consideration. Not everyone deserves your compassion and forgiveness. As a human being, say, I respect your position of whatever your lack of growth is, your perspective. It's just not for me, so I wish you the best. See ya. Fuck off. Right? And so this is something I would encourage you right now in your isolation to develop and refine. You know. But yes, but you want to make sure your boundaries isn't isolation, though, Illuminated. A lot of people say boundaries, and like I said boundaries, but they're isolated now. And they block themselves from people. They blocked your perspective from allowing people in. You know, you have made to create boundaries to keep you safe, but I just feel like your boundaries are too limiting right now. You want to set a threshold. You want to be distinctive about the people that you've been participating with and people that need to come in and what you need to mingle with. You set boundaries, which means you've, like you said, you've isolated yourself. That's keeping yourself safe. That's not allowing dynamic to come through. That's a retaliation. That's in spite of. So perhaps look at the boundaries and say, okay, I'm setting boundaries off the negative shit, but I'm completely open for all the good stuff. And just be more conscious of that. Okay? Conscious of that. Your flashbacks is telling you you're still in that state of energy. Your flashbacks is telling you that you still haven't resolved or took the lessons from the past. You shut it down. You moved out of it. You've isolated yourself. It's like, I put the walls up, but you didn't take the key from the lesson it was trying to teach you of what you want to evolve into. That's why the flashbacks keep happening. Otherwise, if the flashbacks came like, yeah, I feel good about it. Remember that time that guy fucked me over? Gosh, I'm in a great relationship now, or great whatever the case is now, because yeah, thank God that guy fucked me over, right? Like you'd have that perspective on it when the flashback happens. But it's happening, it's triggering you because you shut it out, but you didn't resolve it, right? And within. And so I would focus on the resolution of those past experiences. When they come up, say address it. Okay, here's a flashback. What was happening during that time again? What did I not realize I need to change about that? And what do I really deserve from that? What was I giving too much of? And when you pull that key from that, you resolve that. And you're like, okay, I have the boundaries to that shit, but I'm open again. I feel free again. Now I know what to cut out. And that's the balance. That's a process that you do that resolves, allows you to be open still, has your proper healthy boundaries, but then you also know your threshold. Right. So just, I felt inclined to respond to you because I wanted you to understand you need a little bit of assistance on your processing on that. Okay. But good job. I'm going to say to you, good job. Like you've been doing very good at what you've been doing. I don't want to say just like, we just want to tweak it, but like good job of like taking the realization and good job of taking the initiative to like put this in perspective for you. Good job that you're in that position right now. Okay. All right. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Again, it's not the weed that's a problem because I have cannabis when I need to unwind and relax and be creative. So it's good though that you're eliminating things that influence your mindset right now so you can really understand your mindset. So good for you for doing that. But understand like you can at some point in the future bring that in balance, right? At some point. But congratulations on doing that for yourself because that's you saying, I'm taking the time and space to make myself better. That's the point. And everybody else around you should support that. They don't, fuck them. People should be encouraging you this. People should be, supporting and applauding you with this. And if they don't, and they say, oh, you're not there for me enough, and then fuck them. They're gone. And so people should be appreciating you. We're all celebrating you for making this strides. So good for you, man. Good for you, man. I'm very, very, very appreciative of you today. I know you'll find your balance with that because, marijuana is a great, wonderful plant that's given on this earth. But as I always say, there's duality with everything, right? There's a yin and yang to everything, a positive, negative, everything. So you have an enriched experience with one thing or a completely disastrous experience. Depends on you. But you'll find your balance with that. And you'll probably get into selling it. You'll probably start selling the healthy benefits of CBD in your future and start realizing, I can find a business of actually helping people with anxiety with CBD, helping people, understand the benefits of THC. So you might actually turn that into some sort of a side gig or if not a full-time gig. So I actually see you getting back into it, so go with that, man. I think you're on a beautiful, beautiful journey. I'm rooting for you. I know we're all rooting for you too, man. So congratulations on what you're doing. If anything, I just want to be a little bit of assistance of how to tweak this better so you don't stay in judgment or too isolated, because there are people out there that are like on your vibe, and people out there that want to give to you, want to show up for you just as much you want to show up for them. There are people out there that want to give just as you want to give, but we're celebrating you today, man. I know my spirit was calling to you like immediately when I saw I just called you just to connect, to reach out to you. So we got you. We're with you. You got support, brother. All right. All right. Stephanie Panhar. All right, Stephanie. Hope things are good. Good to see you, my love. Well, Elizabeth's home sell with the backup offer we have coming this week. Will Elizabeth's home sell with the backup offer we have come this week? Yes. Seems like it. Yeah. Thankfully, this is a good one. Thankfully, this is a good simple instead of like, oh, this isn't predictable. It seems like yes. It seems like this is good to go. I feel like she wants to get out of this deal. She's like, I just want to sell it. I feel like she wants to get rid of it. She wants to get out of it. So I feel like yes. And also the Six of Wands came up. So the cards are all saying yes on this one. Again, I didn't need the cards, but I do the dynamic of card pull for flashiness. But yeah, I feel like somehow she wants to get out of the deal. She wants out. So it feels like it'll be successful. Keep me posted, because success could also manifest in different ways too with you in this situation too. And maybe the success for her that she sells it another way, but not you. So I want to make sure that success aligns. So hear me on this one, but I feel like she will get rid of it. She wants to get rid of it, and the deal somehow will go through. So understand that. And maybe she just might need this backup offer to kick her and get her in the mode. So yeah, it feels good. It reads good. The cards do. And next we have Jai, what's up, man? Sydney, what's going on? Welcome aboard. Sup, Sydney. How you doing, sweetheart? My sister from another mister. We're headed still in Pensacola, but heading home tomorrow. Okay, all right. Well, you're home with the Cruisyverse, right? For the streaming. I forgot to put this thing onto live readings here. Yeah, keep me posted on that. These are always difficult to read, but Jai, brother, good to see you, man. What's going on? So let me see. I want to check in my career and my love dating life. I'm single. Want to know if there's anything you pick up on coming in, or just meant to be single for a while career-wise. There's been disruption at work. Had to find a new spot at the company. I'm curious to know what happened to last, because I predicted a relationship, but there was a 2 thing, and you're in that relationship for a little bit of time, and then it said it would be kind of, you have to be patient with it, and I that's one thing I do remember for the last time we spoke. And she was having insecurity issues and all that stuff too. So obviously that didn't last, of course, but that was something that was a relationship that came in that was, of course was out of nothing. But I'm curious to know, like, what exactly happened with that. I mean, I kind of can assume what happened with that, But do you have anything specific? Because it's quite vague about career. Like, no, it's not. Let me type in. Hey, Illuminate, if you can do all or nothing, that means you understand the duality. Find the middle ground, that spectrum. See everything with a spectrum, okay? This is nothing. Okay, what's in that spectrum? Always see things as a spectrum with that duality. Where are you hovering in that spectrum? Think of it that way. Because then you always check yourself. You'll know when you're being like, okay, I'm hovering here, or I'm hovering there. Let's try to find the balance of that in this spectrum and understand where you hover. Whatever the issue is, think that way and process that way. That'd be too much justice for your clarity. Okay, back to Jai. Jai, you're just young. I've always said to you, you have so much time ahead. Like I always said, you have marriage, you have children ahead of you, but you're in the process of learning through relationships. I've always said that. And right now, I think understanding that you have to, like we said before, you got to understand your love for self, and what we're talking about Illuminate, actually, about, like, you might stop giving so much, and how you have to show up, right? Start thinking about how your partner has to show up too. This is the thing I think that has been kind of dragging out this stagnancy in your relationships, but I still feel like here's where your marriage and home and family starts, and you're kind of like right here. There's a timing for this. Yes, you're going to learn through relationships before that, but you're still kind of not in the chapter yet, right? Of having the marriage and house and home to come in, because there is a specific timing for you on this, and that could be within the next 3 to 5 years, right? And that placing, and it can happen sooner. I don't see it happening outside that. So here's that spectrum where I see it happening. You're like right here. Still, there's some work to do. There's some realizations to do, right? And like I said before, there's always that house and home, but you might have to learn through relationships, and that's why I couldn't tell you that the last one was the one, because I feel like it was a learning curve, and that you needed to learn, because we have a process we all have to go through. It's called life, but you're still not in that space of that happening. You know what I'm saying? And so just embrace that and understand there's a time for that, because I do see, again, the family and that's there, but the career focus always for you is always the first thing, because what your soul is saying, and this is kind of traditional approach, I have to have my career and money and finances very stable, so then I'm comfortable enough to have a family, right? And so you're still leveraging that out, but it's not so much you're leveraging out your career, because I think you're doing well with your financial investments. I think you're doing well with your financial, how you maintain your financial balance. You're doing great. I think more we have to understand is how to navigate the ups and downs. downs. That will always be there. And this way you've elevated enough when there's a down, it's still higher than what you've experienced before. So you're never in deprivation mode financially or with your career. So when you're navigating the currents, you will continue to evolve upward, right? And so, but right now you have a down, you panic. And same thing with Stephanie. She was having down moments and she was panicking. Like, but that's always going to happen. Like, that's part of business and life. And so keep going. And every down will be higher than the last down in the trajectory. And therefore you'll never be deprived. So you got to understand the process of that balance, like we were talking about. The same thing with Illuminated Pro is the balance of your career life. So I do see a trip this summer for you. So I don't know if you're taking a spring break trip or something, or a cruise or something on the ocean. I see some sort of trip you're doing with the community. So I feel like your social life will be more of a focus for the summertime. But I feel like, again, your career seems solid again for me. So it feels like you're on the right track. So perhaps you just need that validation. Because, let me see the other thing. Career-wise, there's been disruption at work. How to find a new spot at the company. Well, I told you there's always going to be restructuring there, right? Because it's a new company. There's going to be restructuring. There's going to be a lot of that kind of maneuvering around. So I think, again, understand that's quite normal. Where do you fit in? Where do you really kind of demonstrate more value? It's the mindset, Jai. Every time I read for you, I'm always trying to address the mindset, because nothing is wrong and nothing is not happening. Things are lined up. It's the mindset that's diluting your point of view. So every time I'm reading you, I'm always going to the mindset. And so I need you to understand how to navigate the mindset through these waves of ups and downs. Everything in the future is there. The financial success, the financial security, you're doing it all. You're carving that out. But I understand disruption at work could be troubling, but you're still there. And so I just feel like it's just one of those restructuring phases again, And so, do you need to find a new spot in the company? Not particularly, but this could be an opportunity to showcase maybe another aspect of yourself. So I would take advantage of that, So the mentality is key for you in these circumstances, because you're actually doing everything correctly. But like Stephanie, when something goes wrong, I panic. Is this the end of everything? It's like, look for the opportunity in it. But everything is always going to go that way. And I think that's kind of what's going to help you with your journey, is developing that mindset and that perspective. This way, you realize you already are doing what you need to be doing. And that's not for everybody. Not everybody I can tell that to, but for you specifically, you're doing everything right now. But enjoy the risks and say, okay, things are structured. There's been some disruption. How can I help this disruption? How can I fit in? How can I, make this better? And so, that'll change things, but I know you'll figure it out. You'll figure this out. I've always said, and this is the first read I remember when I read to you, you didn't tell me anything, obviously. And I'm like, I saw you in finance, doing financial investing, being great at financially, consulting and all that great stuff. And I saw you, and I even said with a startup company, and you're going to have, a couple, relationships. One is not going to work out. You're going to meet someone second, then the second one will, but it seems like so we know things are going in this current, right? And so just understand how you can take advantage of those down moments. That's the key. That's the intellect. So I would focus on intellect, and your intellectual drive is what I'd be focusing on right now. Because that would be the thing that's really going to take these circumstances in business. And just like with the stock market, people know when things go down, let's buy. They understand how to, to measure the currents of the stock market up and down and so forth. So see life the same way when it comes to business. You already have that intellect and that mindset, how to take advantage of the lows and ride out the highs, right? Do that here, that intellect. That's the only thing that's been holding you back. But Jai, I said to you before, man, you got it all in you, dude. You got the drive, you got the intellect, you got the stability, you got it all in you. So, and you got the heart, but I've been saying to you, you put your heart out too much. You got to understand to say, okay, I need give the opportunity space for someone else's heart to show up. And you will, because I keep seeing that family. I've always seen that family with you. It's here, but you're right here. So relax on the timing on it, and I think a lot of people have to remind ourselves too, we have decades of life left to live, and there's marking points in our trajectory for when they happen. So many people think they have to have it now, and because they don't have it now, there's something wrong. It's like, no, it's just understand the timing isn't now. Be okay with that. And there's something else to revel in. And so therefore you understand you're never deprived. But it's all going to work out with the disruption at work. I just feel like you can manifest a new circumstance by taking advantage of that disruption, find ways to contribute to it. Then you're good. You're good. So yeah, social life seems to be more focused this summer, as I've been sensing a lot of people. So dive in, be a little more free, and meet more people. And whatever this trip I'm seeing in this vacation or beach, whatever, for the summer. I know it sounds cliche, but not everyone's going to a beach or some sort of like tropical environment in the summer. Some people are doing other things. I just feel like whatever specific trip I'm seeing with you, I would, if it's offered you, take it, go on it. Okay. All right. Good to see you, brother. Jai, it's been some time. It's good to see you. All right, we have a carpool for Linda House. Actually, let me check the PayPal on that too, because I forgot. I have to check the PayPal. Yeah, a lot of you guys, that come, don't necessarily have issues of what's happening in your life. You more have the issues with how you're managing it, right? And so I'm one of those psychics that will, help guide you through that and not, Okay, we have Pamela Johnson. Actually, Felicia, I texted you for the question, and there's a part of the question, I'll just text it to you, Felicia. Okay, with the hospital, job at the hospital anytime soon. I feel like they're just saying with the hospital thing, Felicia, keep pushing for that. Keep pushing for that environment. If it's not that hospital, that space is a good space to be in. So push for it, or find even another space similar, like working in the hospital. That's a better environment to be in. So they're saying push on that, right? These specific. Not all the times I want to be clear if that's not. Would I get the job interview? Like not. I was bombarded with those questions this week by so many people, and I'm just like, oh, I'm so over these questions. Am I going to get this interview? It's like, not all the time are these things laid in stone, and I can only sometimes read where it's at that moment, because these little positions about job interviews are not written in the stars until the decision is made. I'm like, oh, they made a decision. It was the other person, or it went to somebody else. So you're 1 in 3, and it's the third applicant. I can read that, but sometimes they're in flux where it's like it's not predictable. Right now, I feel like there's some sort of a block with that position. Either there's someone there, or someone is blocking from hiring or the position. So there feels like to be a stalling in that position with the hospital. So I feel like once that is removed, then there'd be an open opportunity for you. But I feel like that's the environment you want to be around in, is more empathetic environments, hospital, and in that way, so if it's not that hospital, perhaps something similar. There needs to be that change, and there will be that shift and change, but you have to allow for it too, intellectually and emotionally, like we said, in the message earlier. All right. Pamela Johnson. My granddaughter Sierra Barrett is pregnant with her third baby, and she's having some health issues with her kidneys. What'd you see for her baby girl? I was going to say it's a baby girl. I wish you didn't tell me it was a baby girl. I like to say, I see a girl. I like to call it out. Sometimes you guys give me too much information. I wanted to call it out. That's why when you all book a session with me, I just say, what's the question? Don't tell me anything. And I go off. Like, I don't want any information when people come in the reads with me. The only input is like, ask a question, because I like at least a little bit of feedback of directing, But we'll see. But Pamela, we've talked so many times. I know you trust me, so you're fine. I just like to give you all a hard time sometimes. Okay. Having health of her kidneys. What do you see for her and baby girl? The kidney thing feels temporary. I feel the kidneys are there's a medication or a substance that's hard on the kidneys right now. She might need a drip, or she might need something to like help with nutrients. Maybe I feel like. Maybe she needs something like she feels like nutrient deficient a little bit. That's what it feels like to me. And that'd be a supplement or some sort of medication or something she's taken that's putting a strain on the kidneys too. And of course, being pregnant, we need more nutrients, but I feel like she's nutrient deficient right now. But it feels temporary. It feels like it's a conditional response right now. So I'd advise maybe like get some sort of like, I don't know if they have, this is something I don't even know exists, like a drip they can like give to pregnant women to like revitalize. I don't know if that exists or something of that nature. I feel like she just needs some more nutrients and have more nutrient dense and measure the level of nutrients, because kidneys feel like it's a response to something but not permanent. And I see that the baby girl is healthy. She feels healthy, no complications with the pregnancy. But of course, during any pregnancy, there's a concern if there's something wrong. But understand the body's feeding for 2 now, and she's got to be in more tip-top shape. If she changes, yes. But I feel like if she doesn't address this nutritional deficiency, it might become more complicated. Vitamin infusions. Thank you, Mama. So she might need something of that nature because I feel like there's a deficiency in that regard. But yeah, if she takes care of that and changes that, then yeah, things are back on go, healthy pregnancy. But if she doesn't and just keeps like, I don't know what to do and just getting bad advice, it can cause more complications, obviously, right? So just pass along that information to her. Because ironically, everything feels actually pretty healthy. You know, she feels kind of healthy. And I think a lot of people think because there's a conditional response. I call it a conditional response, meaning like, I'm slapping my arm here, right? Oh, it's turning red. Like, keep slapping, it turns red, but the redness is a conditional response from my slapping. If I stop the slapping, it stops turning red. Doesn't mean that redness was a disease. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times in our body is a conditional response to something that's, you know, causing that pain or causing that, you know, the challenges, whatnot. But when you remove the thing that's causing that, then the conditional response stops happening, right? So that's what I feel in this situation. It's a conditional response to something, which is the deficiency, as well as whatever supplement or something she's taking that's also contributing to that. You know what I mean? So I'd be careful about this. Well, not be careful. That was stupid. I wasn't even thinking. I would be more mindful about that. Yeah, I mean, I sense that fear, right? They wanted to call it carry full term, but that's because of the deficiency of whatever's happening to this depletion. So perhaps he's a nutritionist, Pamela, and you know, and I love how they say she might not to. They don't know for sure, and they should understand why that not being stuff. Saying, oh, there's issues with kidneys. They should be able to go in because they're doctors, right? Say, here's what's creating some issues with your kidneys unexpectedly, and here are the things that can do to help to, you know, to prevent any type of more issues with the kidneys. And here's what we need to do to accommodate the pregnancy. There should be that type of guidance, Pamela. Okay. But she's healthy, but she's having a conditional response that needs to be addressed. Otherwise, like I said before, if it's not, there's going to be some challenges. Like there seems to be like that fork in the road, like I said. Please be aware and mindful of that, okay, with her. And probably perhaps because many doctors, they're not nutritionists, they're just taught how to prescribe. And so let her, you know, understand that she might need someone to physically look at the nutritional, you know, value and density that she's possessing right now. That's contributing to this, okay? But something she could repair, but it's going to require that type of focus. Okay. Lisa, you're asking these complicated ones again. Will your husband find a new job soon? Yeah, your husband's lagging on it, Lisa, and I feel like your husband is just like, you know, oh well, yeah, he's lagging on the move. He's just like all of a sudden he's just like, I'm lazy for a minute, you know. You got to get him outside of that momentum. So it could be like 4 months, 3-4 months. You know, you're like, oh my god, 3 or 4 months, but I just feel like he's just like he's in this like lazy period for some reason, you know, and like I don't know, so he's kind of dragging it out. And I feel like he will, you know, but he also has to like get out of this kind of like I'm afraid of making change bull crap, right? So I told you before, like tell him to like, you know, tough shit, you know. Hey Tara with Jessica, howdy to you. Crystal Montana, good to see you as well. Welcome aboard. I do feel that you definitely need to, you know, push him out of that comfort zone, because I feel like because there's been a lot of change going on, that now he's been very fearful about, oh my gosh, I'm going to make more change. So snap him out of that, you know, but I do feel like he will, but it feels like that kind of, you know, 1 to 4 months. So it could be sooner, but not longer than 4 months, but there's that variable with him on that, you know. He's schlepping around, you know, so, okay, all right. We have a card pull for Joanne Quinn. I think I have another one for someone else. Yeah, your husband feels like, you know, he was on board, like ready to go, and then something's like, uh-oh, like a fear, you know, just like got him in this like trepidation and this like halting position. And I feel like a lot of that just has to do with, you know, his fear of change, you know. But at the same time, I feel he wants it, but he's back into comfort zone. Okay. All right. Again, card pulls are rather simplistic, guys. They're nothing like a full-on read or a direct question. It's just kind of whatever is the tone. Sometimes it can be emotional. Sometimes it can be energetic. Sometimes like, hey, do this. And so this in particular for Joanne is an emotional read. Comes out. So again, for the card pulls, the 3 of Swords in reversed, King of Swords in reversed, and also the 8 of Pentacles in the upright. So there's a little bit of dynamic going on here, but the collaborative nature of them together is really telling me that there does need to be some sort of a release of there's more to this too, actually. There needs to be a releasing of a relationship, someone that's very, I feel like you're holding on to a relationship of someone who's very arrogant, someone who has the perspective where they may present themselves to be very domineering, but they're kind of not. It's like a two-sided person. I feel like that's been around you now. This could be someone in your physical environment or someone that's lingering of energy. I just feel this energy needs to be cleared out. I feel like you have resolved it maybe intellectually, but for some reason, this energy still is lingering around to where you need to fully kind of purge it. This could be subconscious. This could be that maybe the past even revisits you at some point to remind you of this. So it's emotional. It's emotional. But I feel like this will be a kind of like I don't say revelation, but I also feel like this will allow you to feel like, I didn't realize I had that still buried down, and I'm releasing that energy. And this imposter type of energy, this person that I don't want to say the word tricked you, but put on a presentation that didn't fully match the presentation. And yeah, that's been something that's kept me somewhat in contempt with my expression of relationships. That goes. So there's going to be an emotional shift with you in the next few months, it feels like, with this. If not already, but I feel like in the next couple of months. So it's a very emotional shift, but that's like a resolve for you, right? And it can be past. Even if you're with someone now, it's just a passing that you've held on to and an unresolved that you're just like, I got to let go of this. But then I feel with the Eight of Pentacles coming in is like really focusing on the things that you know that you're good at right now and kind of bringing value to the things that you know you're good at. This is also telling me psychically that you might find a new hobby that might turn into something like a side gig or something. So a new hobby, if something you participate in, it feels crafty to me. It feels like maybe something you're doing with your hands that you're like, oh, I just have this sudden interest of doing this. So that's an indication that you're evolving, you're growing, and that may turn to something very profitable. It depends on you. But I just feel like you're going to be participating in some sort of an interest of doing something with your hands, either something crafty or something that you put together that you might discover a new talent for. So there's emotional shift here. You're releasing something and then you're creating something new, it feels like. So that's kind of the energy, surrounding you now. So be more specific in your own life. Again, it's just a general card pull, but that's kind of the essence, and so, but you're on the right track, I don't know why this person just feels like it's ghosted in your reality, Joanne. It's like ghosted there. This person's ghosted. It's like, this is just erase it for a minute or understand what it was, and they're saying to be around more earthy energy. And maybe that crafty thing is like, maybe do something with floral or plants or something of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And you're just like allowing yourself to be immersed earthy energy and like crafting that, putting floral together or something, maybe work in the garden. It's just something connecting with the floral environment too, and becoming more that earth focused energy, so I go on because I'm like, I like the shift that you're going through. It feels like you're making a shift. It feels like you're making a change. And that's where things open up for you, become more expressive, more integrated, I would say, with your internal being. I don't mean to sound cliche, but it's true. So it's been a great change for you this year, Joanne, I feel, actually. Phasing out that imprint, whatever that imprint is. I hope that imprint makes sense, but yeah. All right. I appreciate you and I hope that resonates, makes sense. And I know it will, as you go forward. And you should be attending to your emotions right now, my love. Now it's time to breathe in that life. And sometimes with the earth energy and the organics of our world can help us to really understand how to fully exhale in life. But a lot of adventure. I mean, Joanne, I can go on with you, but just for the sake of time, there's so much opportunity. I can go on like so much about you're going to be traveling an adventure more. So anyways, moving on. So, okay. Who's next on this one? We have Teresa S. I'll just say that because I don't want to use full name. Another random card pull. Just want to see current energies. Couldn't think of just one question. Thank you. Much love. Okay. Teresa. Ketra, always good to see you, my love. Let me know how you're doing with the crafting. Okay. Just give me a simple reach out on that. Because I want to make sure you're on the right track with your craft. All right. Mandy, just give me an update. Okay. Make sure that you're putting things to a test there. Sleep well. Okay. All right. I'll show the cards, but I already psychically ahead. And just so as you're new, I use cards just for a card pull, but I'm a psychic medium. I don't always need card pulls. I do that to be flashy for online stuff and people can see things. But for the most part, all I need is just a question. And that's if you want to just get a regular question channel, that's a question option. But for the card pull with Teresa, there is the Fool card, Ace of Swords card, King of Pentacles, and the Three of Pentacles. Okay. Now, there's something coming. To me, and I read these differently because I'm not a hardcore tarot reader, but I understand tarot. It's more of a guide for my psychic awareness. So I read cards a little differently too. But obviously the Fool card we know is a new beginning, but this is a new chapter. I feel like this is beginning for you. So that sounds vague, but again, this will be very general, but that means there's a new beginnings that you have to be very cautious right now. And with the Ace of Swords, you need to be very emotionally and intellectually agile right now, because I do feel that there's going to be some sort of a legal matter coming to the surface. Now, don't be scared by that, because a lot of times these legal matters I feel like will be to our benefit, and this legal matter feels like it will be to your benefit. The King of Pentacles is kind of like also my financial lawyer, legal card in that sense. I'm well versed in that, but there might be a little legal issue that perhaps you say, oh, I was done wrong. I have to like move forward with this, and you find the right connections that you need, and so that works out to your benefit. So I feel like that you do need to be emotionally agile at this point, and I feel like this legal thing, and it's not going to be as intense as you think it is, actually is going to help you to understand what it's like to defend the self and to stand up for the self, and actually be rewarded by doing that process. So you're in this phase right now, okay? Because I know the Ace of Swords could be just such emotional agility and all that great stuff, but like I'm going to be beyond that. That's also calling for like a, financial or legal aspect, but keep him pushing forward. It works in your benefit. And but the interesting thing to me is the Three of Pentacles coming out, right? Because that means that this legal endeavor connects you with a community of people of a special interest. So whatever this legal thing, and maybe it's not a lawsuit, maybe it's not something financial, but it's just needing to be driven on this in that space, the legal space, and having assistance will connect you with the community of people in that space or special interest of that nature, because that's what Three of Pentacles is, special interest and community card. You will be successful, but this is a new chapter for you. Okay, so it is legal, and the community aspect confirms it. But I feel like that is something to be very agile, emotionally agile on. Move forward, it will work in your benefit. Okay. So I think it's a new chapter for you. So it's almost like you're saying, go for it, girl. Go for it. So it will be successful. Okay. No matter what. Sometimes the first try, sometimes second try, sometimes whatever it is this is your new chapter, they're saying. So, okay. Great. Oh, there you are. Teresa Shuffle says, yes, waiting on state licensure. Okay, there you go. Perfect. So keep pushing. There you go. That's probably the legal aspect, right? And then that makes sense because the Three of the Pentacles about community and like-minded and surrounded by peers. So there you go. So I think you're on the right direction for that. So good for you. I think you're on the right track when it comes to that, Teresa. They said go for it and bang it out. So my guides can be hood every now and then. Bang it out, go for it, girl, be the boss bitch, all that great stuff. Okay. Linda House, we have, all right, Linda, we're just, if you guys want to get a question in, get them in now. We're shutting down for card pulls. If you do want to get a question, get them in now, but now, within 3 minutes, we're going to shut down reads completely, but the card pulls are shut down. If you do want to get a question in, get them in now. If not, in 3 minutes, we'll be closing down reading. So if you can actually do that. So yeah. What does Judge say? Thanks. I'm doing credit in my previous comments for my tech challenges. Appreciate this for. Oh, thank you. You're amazing. I love your energy, Jojo. I just love your energy. I'm just reading your energy, and I was just like, I can go on with you. Your vibe. I just love your energy, Jojo. Seriously, I'm reading like I can go on with her. Just there's so much I want you to see that's going to unfold, but just even your appreciation, it's just so sincere, and I love it. Thank you, Jojo. You're very kind. Okay, Linda House card pull. Let's see. Got one down. Actually, one more to go on this. And also when I'm pulling, I'm trying to like tap in my psychic abilities too. Interesting. Okay. This is a chapter of love, obviously, because, the Lover's card came about and this Six of Swords came about. Now, let me interpret this psychically, because I do feel like the chapter needs to be on relationships. There might be a trip that you connect with the relationship. If you're in a relationship, then maybe you take a trip. I feel an evolution when it comes to your lover, the lover's environment, and relationships and romantic partnerships. And, sometimes my Six of Swords is moving and going overseas, but I just feel like there is a vacation that enhances the love arena in your life or the love environment. So I kind of feel like there's someone there and I kind of don't. So I don't know. I'm getting a back and forth energy of relationships. So perhaps there's maybe someone there and that evolves, but they're not really showing up the way they need to be. Or there's someone that was there, but not really there. And then someone else comes in. So I just feel like that new energy. But that vacation trip, and it does feel like it's around the body of water. I really feel that's kind of it feels like a new chapter in that regard. The next chapter is love, relationships, and travel, and combined. Perhaps that heightens during travel, or you meet someone during travel. I don't know, but I feel like that's this year too. And yeah, I just feel a sense of relief in this sense. So. You might be coming into your own more too, as of late, or on the right way, right? And so I think this trip, this body of water trip, is definitely something that is going to allow you to be more free. So yeah, I would go with that and like really heighten your relationships aspect. What did you say, Linda? She goes, "Whoa. Are you going on a cruise?" Okay, there it goes. There it is. There's the trip. This is not just a cruise, though. This trip is not just a trip, though. Like I was saying, Linda, this is something that's either going to heighten your love life. If you have one, it heightens it, or something gives you a perspective of more love. Just feels like a new chapter of love. So this trip isn't just a trip. It's like a symbology of that, So yeah, I think that's fantastic. Go you. Go fun, go for you. Okay, Linda says, who is it here? Heather C. Let's see. Oh, you're next, Heather. You're the last one. That's why. No, you're here. We got you, Heather. Okay, and this is the last one. Nina, we're going to shut down the reading so we could just make a note of that. And Colin, you got it in right in the nick of time. I loved Colin. That was amazing. What we're like saying this, she's like, "Oh my god!" Okay, let's get with Heather. A card pull. We did say card pulls are over, but I'll honor it. For she with Heather. Heather, I don't know. I feel I maybe did pull a card pull actually. Why are you on the go? Heather's on the go for some reason. Okay. First things first. There's the relationship. You're enabling someone that needs to be cut out. That's number one. Okay. So I don't know if it's a friend or an ex or something. It feels like a relationship that there's a half his energy. You need to be very firm with this relationship and cut it out, or just set your boundaries on it, because it feels like it's toxic. And so, girl, come on. I feel like you have this really strong approach to your relationship, but there's also a huge softness in your relationships. I think that's perhaps there's people that are lingering around maybe longer than they should. And there's one specific male that I feel like has been lingering around longer than they should, that you need to be very firm about and cut out, as well. And so, and I think you will, and this is definitely emotional, and it could be even a friend or some nature. It's another one I was saying before, like this imprint of a person that's lingering that should not be. So it feels like it's someone that's still connected physically, but also feels like it's energetic residue cut it out. It's got to go. I'm also sensing too with you, there's also perhaps a shift or a move that you might do probably by fall. You might start, if you're not thinking move now, you might by fall saying, no, I really think I want to move. I want a new environment, and you might find a place that maybe is a little better. I just feel there's gonna be a shift in residence by fall. Right. And I think right now, just stay put a little bit right now, because you might find in the next month or so that's this antsiness to like want to go. It's like, yes, you will, but like understand by fall, you'll know. Right. Because it definitely is going to be a shift of environment. Right now, they're saying that you do need to travel more. I don't know why they're saying that too. I feel like you've been in an emotional plateau. Like, why are you feeling defeated? Like, you feel defeated to where it's like, I can't move. I want to move, create movement. And so they're saying plan a trip, maybe do something that gets you outside this momentum of change and where you don't feel isolated. Plan a trip, do something with some friends. And that movement will create the desire to say, you know, I actually want to move forward, and actually I do want to move. I'm going to move. It's going to feel like unexpected, FYI. Okay. Did you lose a cat, or someone around you lose a cat, Heather? There's like a cat in spirit for some reason. This like white cat in spirit. I feel like maybe around you. So I don't know if you lost a cat or someone recently lost a cat, but there's a white cat around you. I'm not a cat guy. I love my dogs, but there's a cat in spirit around you. Very random, I know. But I think you're on a good trajectory. It's just right now, you have to understand how to put the codependencies that you've enabled to bed. And I do feel like you're going to do that this year. And you'll see more travel. You'll see a better location and better living environment. You know, so yeah, I think this is a good year for you too, in that sense of evolving. So the future stuff is, the future stuff is probably, maybe I'm going to see you, but yes, I'm in process of setting a legal boundary and looking at there you go. Good. Don't rush it, they're saying. Okay, Heather, don't rush it. And you lost a cat last year, this time. That cat's around you. So that cat's still connected to you. I don't know. So maybe you're wondering about that cat. The cat's like nuzzling around you, like I'm still here, But yeah, but this is a good part. So that makes sense too with the King of Swords too, because that's also a legal card too. So you're being firm, and the relocation and all that great stuff, and maybe you'll travel before that too. So or after. So I feel like this stuckness is going to be released, and that would be your new environment. So so good on you, Heather. That's cool. That's good. I know it's like stressful, but again, I get excited when I see these changes that y'all don't see. I'm like, oh my God, I love this for them. This is great. And so I feel that for you on the other side of this, Heather. And I'm not one, and everyone in the chat will tell you, I'm not one to both smoke up people's assholes. I'm not that person, just to feed people a load of shit. I'll tell you if something's shitty, I'll tell you. But like, I'm excited. I'm genuinely like, I like this change. I like this direction. Okay. The last, but certainly not least, is a card pull for Colleen Foxworthy. Okay. Oh, Julia Fox. Well, there's two cats coming through, obviously, so. It's so funny. Hey, Nita, if you want to let a Kilo 21 ask a question, that's fine. Just tell her about, I'm not doing any more card pulls. Just if she wants one question, just tell her how to do so with that. I'll take one direct question from her if she'd like, But I'm not doing the card pulls because those actually they're more work actually than me just reading a question. I don't know why. Maybe because I like to get in depth. Colleen. Marketing, Colleen, there's a job change for you. And fuck the cards in this one. They're saying there's an aspect of elevation with your career that requires marketing or goes in the line of marketing. And May this year, I feel, is where you will amplify this career shift with marketing, or you're in marketing or doing the marketing to establish more a career change. I don't know if I'd say so much a career change as much as I would say career expansion this year. And May seems to be the antithesis of that change. Okay. And they're really highlighting, emphasizing the marketing aspect. Chariot card comes up in that position. So like, it's almost like you're arriving at the right time when it comes to the career aspect and whatever you do with career. I don't know why this is so off, but like, I'm just going to go with it. You need to like be more in tune to your sexuality, expressing sexuality. I don't know why this comes up, because there might be an imbalance when it comes to sexuality that might be expressing or holding you back. There needs to be more refinement with your sexuality, how to express that. I feel like innovating and teaching others with sexuality in that sense. And so perhaps you influence people with that too, as a side as a hobby. It does sound so weird, but I feel that coming. I feel that brewing as well too, and putting the past aside, in a sense. So there's an emotional twist here in the card pull. It's like saying, oh, you know what? You got to resolve the past and understand, embrace this new version of sexuality and open that channel for you. Because I feel like there might be ways you inspire other women with this too. And there's that career expansion in May that deals with marketing and all that great stuff. So there's a lot of expansion in that regard. This whole sexuality shit sounds so random to me, and it might be sound random to you now, but you'll understand when things turn around. But if the main thing here, it's more so about your the expansion of career and that marketing aspect. That's beautiful to me. That's beautiful to me. You know, so yeah, I think that's a wonderful time. My advice with you on this is, you know, sound cliche, Colleen, but be open as fuck. I mean, that's the best thing I could say. Let that resonate in your subconscious. I'm gonna be open as fuck, open as fuck. Of course, you understand your boundaries and all that great stuff, but I think that open as fuck in the direction that we understand when it comes to your career, the marketing aspects, as well as the sexuality theme that keeps popping up with you, you'll understand exactly why that's being conveyed now. And to remind you guys, a lot of times with future predictions, a lot of y'all, and I get this all the time, I've been doing it for 14 years, well, going on 14 years. I get people to say, you know, when I first had a subject, I thought you were fucking crazy. I didn't know, there's no way that would happen. Then they come back a year later, oh my God, everything happened the way you said. I said, we're readers for a reason. And it's not to like blow smoke up my ass. It's to say to you that we're seeing things that's part of your trajectory. And obviously you don't know. And there's not a lot of things that you know, right? And so I think a lot of that has to, you know, the openness of understanding you're going to make change. You're going to shift. And you might not know it now, but if someone told me, you know, 20 years ago, Scott, you're going to be reading people for a living on YouTube, I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. I was composing music for fun. Or not for fun, as a career, making great living, being a composer for TV and film and licensing music. And I was a secret psychic medium. I was a psychic medium since I was a kid. But I didn't know there's a career in that. And I didn't want to be scrutinized and deal with fucking people's opinions about what I do. I'm like, I don't want to deal with fucking dumb idiots and proving things. And so, but then Spirit's like, you have to share this gift. And of course, I wouldn't have thought I'd be here and on YouTube. Even when I was doing my career for 12 years, I was just like, I would never do YouTube. I hate social media. Here I am on YouTube. And I resisted it because it just ain't my thing, but I understand the purposes of why, right? And so same thing with your futures. There's things that you're going to be doing that you may not even think that you're going to do, but you're evolving, you're changing, and just be open to that. Be open to that. Starting my own thing in herbs, telling the stories of ancient traditions, etc. I'm conservative by nature, so that would make sense. You might have to get more in touch with the body, Colleen, and the sexuality, and integrate that in with your regimen. And again, the marketing aspect in May will make sense of pushing it, because with the sexuality thing, I don't know why I was getting influencer energy, right? Because I was saying marketing, the influencer stuff. And not so much that you have to be like doing porn. Like, I'm not talking about that. It's the sacred sexuality of the core and understanding the sacred nature of the body, right? And utilizing the body. It's like that ritualistic way. It's more Kama Sutra and less OnlyFans. If you understand the concept I'm coming through when it comes to sexuality and the body, that will open up. And so it's funny because when I was seeing that, the sexuality, it needs to seem more sacred stuff. So I should have, you know, because I assumed you were somehow spiritually advanced, you would understand, but understand it's more that, not OnlyFans and I'm showing my breath. You know, it's not that stuff. But there's going to be a breakthrough with you this year with that too. And so that expansion in marketing with your career in May, and that expansion, that shift, will put you on a better path. But I think you're going to dive deep into more of the physical body and the physical nature, and perhaps even learning more about tantric stuff and, you know, certain parts of the body, and that could be part of the healing methodology that you do too. You know, it's really cool, but it seems really refined. You know, really refined. And look, I came from a conservative upbringing. I was a Pentecostal Christian. Okay, went to conversion therapy for being gay, right? And then went through sexual abuse, right? And so then I acted out sexually, and then I repressed myself sexually because of the trauma. And so I had to resolve that. Now I can integrate and understand the connection of mind, body, spirit, right? So we have different reasons, you know, but there's a leadership, and I'm still stuck on Colleen. There's a leadership value, I feel, that you possess that needs to help people to be guided. You know, and I think your conservative nature is going to be a very huge benefit as you tap into the true essence and the spiritual connections with the physical body and sexuality, you know, and or the sexual points, because the devil card doesn't come out for no reason about, you know, that's also like, we got to focus more on the physical aspects, less of the spiritual, maybe more of the spiritual, the physical integration too. That could also mean healing of the body as well. But that's kind of what the emphasis was also directing you toward as well. But you're on the right track for that. And I really like how this shift and this evolution of career is going to be a huge point, like I said before, on this. So yeah. And I feel like and they say marketing. So perhaps you actually link with someone who's good with the marketing, or you understand how to do it yourself. It seemed like a kind of a yin and a yang on it. All right. Okay. Well, that's the last reading. And I think that's the conclusion. So I'll give you all my final thoughts. I'm just double checking, make sure there's no other question in here, but it's not. I'm just double check my PayPal. Make sure. And yeah, guys, I do this every Thursday because I want you guys, at least, you know, for those who maybe don't have the funds to book a full session, they can get a question in, you know, or at least test me out if they want to book a full session, or at least have a resource. I think that's the most important thing why I started 2 years ago doing this, because I didn't want to do it. But now I love doing it. I'm cool doing it. And so, yeah, if you guys haven't checked out Leading Out Loud, finally, David Palmer is back, you know, with us. He was an initial cast. We were doing the show for 2 years. He had kids, and so he's back with us. So we're having good synergy. There's like a unique thread that the three of us have that I think is really, really awesome. And so I'm excited to have that progression with that. So check out last night's episode. The episode before that. Yes, last night we were all kind of like I was like sinusy and on Sudafed. Christopher was exhausted. So we're still able to manage things last night. So some person would think I was talking over people. I'm like, I am not that way. I know how to co-host, but like there was technical delays. Like I couldn't hear Christopher. Someone stopped talking. I'd come in, there's a delay. I'm like, what's going on? And so, but hopefully we're still able to have a good show last night anyways. So check that out. And let me give my final thoughts about the read this morning. Oh, that's funny, a Scorpio. Let me tell you something. It's good because we have Aqua, Leo, Taurus. I think just the fourth would be too much. We started with 5. It was me, David, Christopher, Devin Dewar, and Chris Rack, you know, the tarot reader. And just like 5 was just so much. And then we went down to 4, and that was so much. I feel like 3 is so good, you know, right now. So, perhaps when we have a guest, but it's even hard. We all 3 just talk so much on our own. That's to try to have a producer manage us 3, and you know. But it's a good thought to think about. So I appreciate that feedback. All right, guys. But this week, like we said before, you're gonna feel this week a lot of impulsive energy. Please understand how to redirect this impulsive energy. Please understand that with this Aries fire energy, now you know Mars entering Aries today too. That's gonna bring a lot of like attention to things and things that require your attention. So it's gonna be very evident things that are pulling at you that need your attention. Ask yourself, is this a priority? You know, have I kind of maintained a consistency with things that are not a priority in my life to where that I actually fed this codependent energy? And I'm just like exhausting myself, and I'm fragmented because I'm here. And so it's time to start unplugging those plugs that you don't need to be feeding those psychic connections toward, either conditionally or personally with the person, and say, that's not benefiting me. Pull it out, because then you can actually take all that energy, harvest that back into the unique purpose that you're here for. As cliche as that sounds, but that's true. What your unique purpose is here for, and what you're intended to express, and you have the intellectual, spiritual, and mental and energetic space to move forward with that. So this is the week that's going to bring that to realization. Okay. And if you guys are avoiding this, I'm telling you, things are going to be like, kind of like, you're going to feel like things are pulling you in every direction, and you're going to feel like kind of going to shit energy. So handle it this week. Be honest. And if people are holding you back, don't let them hold you back. Felicia, if you all had plans to do something, Felicia, tell them tough shit. We started this process. We're going. You're not holding me back. Okay. Like, use that fire energy, move forward. Right. And so this is the energy. Keep it simple, guys. Don't overly mystify spirituality. Don't over intellectualize. Simple, basic, methodologies about our intellect and what we should be doing in our life. Most importantly, we need consistency of support, consistency of people to cheerlead us on. That's the most important thing that we need right now during this times, especially with this fragmentation with our collective. However, this fragmentation is bringing collective integration too. So understand, we're in this phase of breaking down, and 2026 is definitely bringing the year of revelation, the year of innovation. I said in 2025, when I did my predictions, that there's going to be a lot of space discoveries this year, right? And so now we're hearing a lot with aliens this year, a lot with even the Artemis going further than it did, speculative, right? And I'm going to see more progressions with, building civilization on Mars this year. So a lot more of that innovative energy. And so even what's going on with our governments, things are collapsing and crashing. It's very much revealing to us the shit we've been in all along, right? And this group of people that have been fucking up for civilization. So we're starting to see that clearly now. But that's a revelation and the realization of such, but also the innovation for us to bring change. We're in the age of Aquarius. It's about what's best for all and how we can connect for all. So when you start thinking about your individual lives at this point and what you want to do in life and how you want to participate and show up, ask yourselves, is what I'm doing bringing value to other people? And if not, how can I? Because then you bank on the astrological currents and the psychic currents that are going right now, and that will push you forward because you're taking advantage of the currents that we're destined to be in right now. Instead of avoiding the currents and trying to fight against the currents and, oh no, but I want this, oh no, but I want that, but I'm just so manifest a boyfriend and I want this money in my pocket now and I'm so alone. And instead of doing all that bullshit and doing what we were talking about before, the spiritual bypassing, you'll be taking advantage of these energetic currents. You'll be the wizard and the witch of your life, and understanding, well, yeah, there's these energy currents. Let me take advantage and harvest what I need to during the cycle so that I can perpetuate and propel myself use these energies in the direction I'm intended to be in, and understand that you're intended to be in, and taking advantage of these currents. That's you being the magician. So learn about what the fuck is going on right now and the purpose of it, and take advantage of it. Instead of, woe is me, there's been a down clip in my life, and those down clips are supposed to be there. Okay. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you all. See you all next week. If you have any topics to discuss next week, let me know. I always say you are all the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? Much love. I don't have my commercial here even to run. But if you want to book a session, scottcruzpm.com. One-on-one sessions are there. Zoom sessions, phone sessions, intuition builder, mediumship sessions, life readings, all that great stuff is scottcruzpm.com. Book a session there. And if not, I'll see you all next week. And I will close with Save the Future, I guess. I don't know where my commercial video is for that, but who cares? Again, I'm going to hound you to Save the Future until it gets ingrained in your subconscious of the song. Okay. So good night, guys. I love you. You're the gods and goddesses of your own myth. Good night, guys.